another step there. They come together.
There's a number of 10 to 13 different drivers that can easily win this race.
Trouble turn 4.
Drifts up just a bit.
Into the outside wall, but he takes the checkered flag.
The Whelen Modified Tour is set to do battle.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Today, the race they've all been waiting for, the Magic Mile, comes to life with the Whelen Modified Tour and a great crowd on hand to witness the Mohegan Sun 100. I'm Joe Koss alongside Kyle, Ricky, and Kyle. When you talk about the big events on Modified schedule, it's right here that everybody has circled the race in New Hampshire.
As it has been since the Modifieds first raced here in 1990 when this racetrack first opened as a 1-mile speedway. Some of the greatest races that this tour has seen has happened right here in lead changes and photo finishes and even some pretty big incidents over the years as well. Great 30 cars assembled here on the pit lane, getting set to go here this afternoon for 100 miles.
You talk about drama and great finishes. We had one year ago. Justin Bonsignor leading at the white flag. Tyler Ripkema battled, got by him down in turn number 3, and crashed across the start-finish line to win and earn his very first Whelen Modified Tour victory. What a day that was. And I think from what we've heard from the drivers today and over the last couple of days here, Kyle, is that intensity is going to be the same here today. These cars have proven to be very, very racy in the practice session yesterday, and I'm looking forward to the excitement later on today.
Largest field that we have seen here at the Magic Mile in several seasons, over 30 taking time yesterday, 30 ready to go today, and there's a lot of big names in the mid portions of the field that are wanting to get to the front. Drivers like Ryan Newman, Ryan Preece from the 21st position, a racetrack that he has won on. Michael Christopher Jr., just coming off a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Great run a few moments ago. He'll start from the 17th position. So a lot of movers and shakers mid-pack. Some familiar faces up front.
Yeah, no doubt. Austin Beers on the pole for the first time in his career here at Loudon. But let's take a look at some of the track facts here in New Hampshire.
Opened in 1990 as this 1.058 mile asphalt oval here in Loudon, New Hampshire, and what has been a cloudy, overcast, and cool afternoon, a little unseasonable here for this time of year at New Hampshire, but the race fans will take it. They have turned out by the thousands here. Watch the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race earlier, and now they're settling back into their seats, getting set to watch the Mod Squad. There's a couple of former champions on your screen getting set to climb into their race cars.
Justin Bonsignor got the Dollar Tree colors on his car here this weekend. Doug Coby running part-time this year. He's going to be in that white and blue number 28 machine. Both drivers combined for 7 victories here at this racetrack. One of the favorites, or two of the favorites, to keep an eye on throughout the next 100 laps.
Getting set for the command of fire engines here shortly. Qualifying taking place here yesterday. Austin Beers picking up the pole. The former champion is today the day. He gets the first win of 2026. He has been close so many times, and it's been a long time since Eric Goodale has visited Victory Lane as well. He'll join him on the front row here shortly.
A great start for him at the front of the field, and then we've got some young guns that are going to be part of this as well. Let's go trackside for opening ceremony.
Race fans, please rise as you are able, remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Lexington, Massachusetts Police Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome from Racing with Jesus Ministries, Reverend Dan Petfield.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the modifieds. We thank you for the thrill and excitement that they bring to each one of us. And Lord Jesus, we just pray that you be with each one of those brave drivers as they start those cars up and bring them out on the track for our enjoyment. Protect them and keep them in your loving arms. Be with the crew members, Lord, the officials, Heavenly Father, all the track workers, everyone that's involved in this race this evening, dear God. And Lord, again, we thank you for the fans. Lord, the fans that come here to see the modifieds, the greatest fans in the world, Heavenly Father. And Lord, each one of us came here, Lord, because of the first responders, Lord, that protect us and keep us. Lord, we pray that you continue to bless the policemen, firemen, EMTs, doctors, nurses, all those that keep us safe. Protect them, Lord, and just guard over them. Give us a great time this evening and keep us in your loving arms and bring us home safely later on. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform God Bless America, please welcome American Idol finalist and rising pop artist, Julia Gagnon.
God bless bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Let's hear it for Julia's performance of God Bless America.
So opening ceremonies complete down on the front straightaway. Drivers beginning to climb aboard their cars just behind the pit lane here on the front straightaway at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the 12th race of 16 on the 2026 season. Tight championship battle to go along with all the action we'll see on the racetrack today. More on the title in a moment, but first let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team here this afternoon. Bonza Tufa is down on the pit lane.
Thank you, Kyle. Now, the last 6 American Racer Pole Award winners have come from Northampton, Pennsylvania. 3 from Matt Hirschman, 3 from Austin Beers. Back-to-back Pole Awards for Austin Beers. So, Austin, you're debuting a brand new car this weekend. What's your first impressions?
I'd say it's pretty good so far, right? Starting from the pole is a good spot to be. Got a lot of hungry drivers behind us, though, that we got to hold off for 100 laps and see how the pit strategy plays out.
How much does track position play a factor here compared to other tracks?
I feel like it's going to be big today. Big field of cars with a lot of competitive cars, so I think passes are going to be at a premium with when you can make them. So you got to make them as quickly as possible. Fortunately, we don't have anybody to pass right now. Hopefully it stays that way.
Austin Beers' best finish here in New Hampshire is a 4th place finish. Not only does he think he can best that, he thinks he can hit victory lane at the Magic Mile for the first time, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you, Bonza. As he gets ready to get strapped in, he told me earlier today, Austin Beers did, that he is going to be more aggressive than he has ever been because he is hungry to get the win at this iconic facility.
They'll lead him to the green flag when we come back to the Magic Mile. The Mohegan Sun 100 is coming up next from New Hampshire.
It's been a staple in the law enforcement community for so many years that why would you go anywhere else?
We can enhance lighting and enhance our sirens, faster, more aggressive flash patterns, and more aggressive siren tones to get better attention at intersections.
When we get newer cars, the Whelen products, they get more and more advanced.
It supports Whelen's mission as a whole to protect those who protect us.
Back in New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we get set for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour and the Mohegan Sun 100, their super speedway of each and every season. The championship standings coming into tonight. Patrick Emmerling, the championship point leader, as we get a look at one of our rookie competitors, Teddy Hodgson, climbing aboard. Emmerling a 13-point advantage over Austin Beers, and right now, Joe, it's shaping up to be a 2-man race atop the leaderboard.
It really is indeed, and Emmerling vying for that first title this season. Austin Beers, he was a champion a year ago, and he wants to come back. He said, you know what, I came into the year, I knew I won the championship, I accomplished that. I want wins this year, and that's the one thing that he hasn't had in his title defense.
Stephen Kopsick, the early championship leader, back in the early portions of the season, third, 44 points back and beginning to lose touch. Matt Hirschman running in position number 4.
Let's take a look at that championship battle here a little bit, Kyle. We've got those 2 drivers, Patrick Emmerling and Austin Beers. Let's break it down for how they've run so far this season. Take a look at Patrick Emmerling again, eyeing his first championship title, but he's got momentum on his side, winning 3 of the last 4 races, has finished no worse than 13 this year, and very few mistakes out of his team. Things are going their way.
Austin Beers looking for that first win, but has been consistent. 8 top 5s. That is more than anybody else here in the series. 10 top 10s and has averaged a 4.7. Still wanting to get to victory lane and close in just a bit on championship leader Patrick Emmerling. Still has some time left with a handful of races remaining on the season, including next Friday night at Stafford Motor Speedway. So it'll be a fairly quick turnaround for these teams once they leave New Hampshire here later this evening.
And a lot can happen here at this racetrack, and normally does. Austin Beers alluded to it when he was talking with Bonza Tufa just a little while ago. You've got to play the pit strategy right. This is a large racetrack, the largest that they'll race on, a big pit road, plenty of opportunity to make mistakes, and an all-new track that they're going to battle here today, because the Craftsman Truck Series were just on the racetrack. It's going to look very different now than it did here yesterday in practice.
Ran 175 laps here just a little bit ago, put a lot of rubber down on the racetrack. A different tire compound from the American racers that the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour will compete on here in a little bit. So it's going to be about managing the tires, managing your car, managing your position on the racetrack, and like Joe mentioned, just surviving, getting to lap number 100 here later this evening on a cool afternoon here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 30 cars lined up and ready to go. It is the 12th race of the 2026 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season. Let's go trackside to get this one started here today at the Magic Mile.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway, here to give the command to fire engines with the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome, from the board of directors at Mohegan Sun, Mark Brown.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines have fired here for the Mohegan Sun 100. We'll see the green flag in the starting lineup when we come back.
Engines have fired in the infield for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour teams, and they'll be taken to the racetrack here in just a matter of a couple of moments for the first of a couple of parade and pace laps before we get today's Mohegan Sun 100 underway.
There's a good look at Austin Beers again, starting from the pole position. His crew chief, Sly Zabin, was a key factor in the historic career of Mike Stefanik. And Austin Beers spoke of that earlier, winning that pole for Sly Zabin here yesterday afternoon. He said in everything he's accomplished, Sly had never won a pole here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And to be able to credit that opportunity was huge for him.
There's Tyler Ripkema, driver of car number 3, Old Blue, and the defending winner of this event. What was a wild race a year ago that came down to the final corner of the final lap, and in fact the final couple of feet as they were crashing across the finish line.
Well, let's not just talk about it. Let's take a look at what it looked like 1 year ago. Tyler Ripkema chasing as they came across the white flag. Justin Bonsignor had led 38 laps on the day, but Ripkema was putting on the pressure, and it all unfolded on the back straightaway.
Off of turn number 2 they went, and Justin Bonsignor through the block wanted to guard the bottom of the racetrack, and he did. but Tyler Ripkema built a run in the outside lane, gained a little bit of more speed and momentum into the corner. The tap was there, the pass was made, but that wasn't the end of it.
One more block from Ripkema to try to secure the win into the outside wall and across the granite stripe, but he got there first and brought Old Blue back to victory lane for his very first career Whelen Modified Tour win.
And looking for his first of the 2026 season for Tyler Ripkema, his only win in his 97 prior starts here. And he'll be in good early position to at least challenge for a victory here this afternoon from the third starting spot in his Northeast Drilling SYP sponsored number 3 car.
Well, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's Mohegan Sun 100 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Starting on the pole, Austin Beers, a 2025 Series champion, lining up alongside 5-time Series winner Eric Goodale. We talked about Tyler Ripkema. He'll roll from the third position as the defending race winner alongside 3-time New Hampshire winner Justin Bonsignore.
A couple of former champions in row 3. 6-time champion and Doug Kobe will go to the inside of that row. And then Jonathan McKennedy, a former champ, to his outside. Tommy Catalano, good qualifying effort in the top 10. Will start from the inside of row 4 with Matt Kimball to his outside.
Starting ninth, Stephen Kopsick. He won this race as a crew chief 8 years ago while Chase Dowling was driving. 2-time winner this year alongside Andrew Moeller from Shelton, Connecticut. Paulie Hartwig will line up in the 11th position alongside the 2018 track winner for Chase Dowling.
Moving to the next row, Patrick Emmerling, who is the current championship point leader coming into tonight, will go into the inside of row 7 with Dave Sapienza to his outside. Then it's Ronnie Williams and Matt Hirschman, row 8, inside and out.
Rolling from 17th, fresh off a 12th place finish in the Craftsman Truck Series, Michael Christopher Jr. alongside Luke Baldwin, who also ran in that race. Trevor Catalano, 19th on the grid alongside former Cup Series winner. Matter of fact, Ryan Newman got his first Cup win here at Loudon. He'll start 20th.
Current Cup Series competitor. He'll be in the race tomorrow, and a former New Hampshire Modified winner, former champion as well in this tour. Ryan Priest will go to the inside of row 11. Teddy Hodgson, rookie competitor, to his outside. Then it's Craig Lutz and John Michael Chenette to the outside of row 12.
Another former winner starts deep in the field. Anthony Nocella won this race in 2022 alongside Jacob Perry. Corey DiMatteo making his first appearance here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the Whelen Modified Tour alongside Series veteran Ken Hagee.
And then round out the field, Series rookie Corey Plummer in our 29th final position. Andy Seiss also will start from the 30th position, a former NASCAR Southern Whelen Modified Tour champion of a decade ago, making his annual appearance here on the tour at his home racetrack up here in New Hampshire.
A lot of people on hand to watch him race. Let's go back trackside to Bonzatufa.
You guys talked about the point battle with Patrick Emmerling and Austin Beers. Now, Patrick Emmerling had an eventful Friday. He had issues with his motor. Crew Chief Dale Hedquist told me they changed the ignition box, the carburetor, the air cleaner, and he's pretty confident they have the problem solved. Emmerling's car drove good, was just lacking speed, so they're hoping they got the car righted for today. He's got some work to do, starting in the 13th spot.
But has 100 miles to get to the front of the field for Orchard Park, New York's Patrick Emmerling, that USNE Power sponsored number 1, as the field gets the 1 to go signal, and we'll go under the green flag in less than a lap from now.
You know, you never want to have to start at the back of the pack like they are doing here today, but I will tell you about Patrick Emmerling and that team. They are good when they start deep in the field. When they have trouble and they have to rally back from adversity, it goes a long way for them, and they've got some work to do here for Emmerling in that group here today.
Field on the back straightaway. Hard to believe this is the 78th NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Mike McLaughlin won the very first in September of 1990. Talked about a moment ago and showed you a moment ago Tyler Ripkema, the most recent winner here last September. Joe mentioned Mike Stefanik a little bit ago, an 8-time winner here at this racetrack. The all-time winningest driver here for the late Mike Stefanik, who will add their name to the list here this afternoon. We're set to go for the start here. Pace car looking to make that hard left-hand turn onto the pit lane. And here's Joe Koss with the start of the Mohegan Sun 100.
Pole sitter Austin Beers electing to start on the outside lane of the racetrack. He'll bring the field around across a granite stripe. Green flag goes in the air, and a push from series veteran Justin Bonsignore puts Austin Beers in the race lead.
Justin Bonsignore will fall into that second spot as they exit turn number 2 and race up the back straightaway for the first time. Eric Goodale trying to hang on to third, but may lose that spot as they race to turn number 3 for the first time. Jonathan McKennedy moves on into third, Goodale in fourth, Ripkema in fifth, front half of the field quickly to single out as they come around to complete lap number 1.
Single file among the top 6. Remember, they've got to get that rubber off the racetrack from the Craftsman Truck Series, and Justin Bonsignore taking no time here to jump to the race lead. He'll scoot in front of Austin Beers. Beers trying to rally back, but Bonsignore, the veteran, just so good at this racetrack, firmly in command.
Justin Bonsignore to the point, led into turn number 1 after Beers led the opening circuit. Further back, a big mover. That's Catalano to the inside of Ripkema, challenging for position number 5 as they come off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 2. Catalano will slide in the line as they cross the stripe.
The Catalano family has won races on some of the smallest circuits of the Whelen Modified Tour, but when you come to New Hampshire, that 54 car, he loves this big, wide open racetrack. Reminds him of the tracks that he used to race at back home. And he's got a lot of power in that 54 car today, looking strong just outside the top 6 in the early going to this one.
Matt Kimball in the mix as well, car number 43, having a good solid run here early in the opening laps, but they are all chasing Justin Bonsignore, who knows how to get around this racetrack. But Austin Beers using that draft here on the front straightaway, thought about making a run into turn number 1. Settled.
Oh, trouble! One car up on the side into turns 1 and 2, riding the barrier up at the far side of the racetrack. And that'll bring out the caution flag here for the first time today in Mohegan Sun 100, and that is Patrick Emmerling, who has gone up on 2 wheels in turn 1 and 2.
Rode the safer wall for about 100 yards over in turn number 2, climbed the barrier, came back down on all 4 wheels, but the caution does come out for the first time here early on in this one, just on lap number 3. We were talking about a moment ago, all the momentum that he had on his side as the championship leader. 3 of the last 4 races, he's gone to victory lane, but first driver to find trouble about 90 seconds into the race here today.
Just like that, it is a brutal sport. Momentum completely gone for Patrick Emmerling as he gets involved in an incident here just a handful of laps into this Mohegan Sun 100. And boy, a wild incident. You don't see these modifieds, even with open wheels. You'd expect you'd see it more often, but you don't see these modifieds get up on the side like that and ride a wall all the way through turns 1 and 2. Driver's side down as he rolled through it, and fortunately for him, landed on all 4 wheels rather than upside down.
He has climbed from the car, walking to the ambulance over in turn number 1. We'll take the mandatory ride back to the infield care center for Patrick Emmerling. Started at the rear, toward the rear, was trying to make his way forward, and unfortunately only gained a couple of spots before the incident in turn number 1. Put out this caution flag.
The Whelen caution lights are on. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR, trusted to protect first responders.
Pace cars pick the field up here on the front straightaway. Justin Bonsignore, the race leader. And the rest of the pack will close in, including Austin Beers, Jonathan McKennedy, Eric Goodale, and Tyler Ripkema. But what a tough break for the point leader coming into today. Patrick Emmerling, left front all torn up, right side all torn up. A wild ride, and no doubt going to lose a lot of ground.
Well, let's hear more on the story. Bonza, you reported on the 1 car before we took the green flag. The story looks very different now. What's the latest with Patrick Emmerling and his team?
Well, Emmerling told his team that it was the left front tire that went on the 1 car, and that's how he ended up in the wall. A tough break for the point leader. As I mentioned, a lot of troubles on Friday. They thought they had them ironed out, but a serious detour here in their pursuit for the championship.
Couple of runner-up finishes for him here at this racetrack. Had a lot of optimism coming in, knowing that he has a lot of experience around this 1-mile oval, and that momentum on his side after wins at Claremont, White Mountain, and Monadnock here in recent weeks. That momentum gone in a hurry here after the single car incident in turn number 1 puts Emmerling on the hook and out of this event. The crew packing up and heading back to the makeshift garage here for the tour.
Emmerling has led more laps than anybody else on the circuit here in the 2026 season, and he's not going to lead any laps today. That's certainly going to put the pressure on that team, but it's also going to put some pressure on Austin Beers. Now, if you know Austin Beers and have followed the Whelen Modified Tour at all, Austin Beers does not crack under pressure. Joey Logano will say pressure is a privilege, and I look at Austin Beers and pressure doesn't get to him at all.
It does not at all, and that's why he won last year's championship, was able to contain the pressure, and but boy, he is sick of finishing second, third, fourth. You can hear the frustration in his voice. Little bit of pressure to perform and get back to victory lane, but like you mentioned, doesn't bother him at all, as he is usually a consistent front runner here on the tour, and he's running second right now.
Yeah, some drivers will tell you, you go to the battle to win the championship, but the race wins are more fun. You can taste that a little bit more than you can when you get a trophy at the banquet. But do want to mention that Mike Murphy, his car owner, had not been at the racetrack for some time, just working through some health issues. He's back at the track here in Loudon today. You see the colors of the Irish on that front bumper of the 64 car, his owner Murph, and they're excited to have him back on track. And I know a lot of drivers, or fans rather, maybe not the competitors, but the fans are excited to see Justin Bonsignore back on the tour.
Running a part-time schedule this year. It's been a while since we've seen him at the racetrack, but he's back with us here today, and the current race leader. We talked about Austin Beers a moment ago in the second spot. Let's get more from his pit with Bonzo.
Austin Beers said on the radio that the track is just a little bit free right now. As you guys mentioned, Goodyear rubber on the track from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race. That's all Beers had to say. It's more about the track than the handling of the car.
Yeah, and that's one thing, Bonzo, that we heard from some of the crew chiefs, that early on in this race they would have to adjust for those loose, meaning slippery race conditions out on the track. But here's the other thing. Not many of these cars, especially the ones towards the front of the field like Justin Bonsignore, participated in drafting practice here yesterday. And the report from the teams is that when you get into the draft with a modified, this is the only track that you do that at, you tend to get a little bit light, meaning you lose grip in the front end, and that's something that we'll keep an eye on here as the race goes on. As the cars get tighter and that rubber wears off from the Craftsman Truck Series, that should get better, but drafting closely takes away some handling advantage in these modifieds.
Just a couple of green flag laps so far to put rubber down on the surface from these American Racing tires. And about to go back under the green flag here and hopefully string together some more green flag laps with Justin Bonsignore setting the pace off of turn number 4. Austin Beers to his right elbow. Green flag from Sean Houlihan atop the starter stand. We are back underway to begin lap number 7, and it is Bonsignore by a nose as they go to turn number 1.
Bonsignore wanted the bottom on the restart, and it pays off here. He's able to sneak up ahead of Austin Beers, who now Beers has got to deal with John McKennedy, Eric Goodale. Both those drivers side by side battling for third. But look at Beers. He said he was going to be aggressive, using the chrome horn on Justin Bonsignore in turn 3.
Settles into line in second, just in front of Eric Goodale. Tommy Catalano coming to life in the outside lane. Car number 54 has a great run. He is up to 4th, and in the draft of Eric Goodale, who is closing in on Beers and Bonsignore. They are 2nd and 1st as they go back to turn number 1. The top 4 looking to get away from everybody else as they exit 2.
One car that's going backwards is a little further back. It's Tyler Ripkema, but up front, here comes Austin Beers. Will swing down to the inside of Justin Bonsignore and take over the race lead.
Stepped out of line going into turn number 3, went right to the bottom of the racetrack and back to the front of the field for Austin Beers. Will lead lap number 10 over Bonsignore in 2nd, who is able to get in the line just in front of Eric Goodale in 3rd, Catalano in 4th, and Doug Kobe moving into the top 5.
Drivers will tell you they want to be in the top 5 as the race goes on. They don't want to lose that track position. Extremely important in a race like this. And you can see why, how aggressive and how competitive the race is just in the first 10 laps.
Close call mid-pack with Paulie Hartwick. They were 3 wide up the back straightaway, and that car nearly pointed to the infield. He will lose about a half a dozen or so spots at the tail end of the field. Hartwick still trying to get back in the line, well behind the race leaders that are already in turn number 2. Beers and Bonsignore nose to tail. Nobody at this stage really wanting to make a desperate move at the front, just wanting to click some laps off here early on.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think some of that is because they watched the 3 car of Tyler Ripkema get stuck on the bottom and just go backwards. He was working towards the front of the field. Andrew Moeller is down there now in the orange 82. They're going backwards. Here you see Ripkema. He's gotten to the top lane of the racetrack, and that is where he needs to be. But when he started the race in 3rd, now look where he's running, deep in the pack.
Yep, outside of the top 10 or just into the top 10 for the 3 of Tyler Ripkema. Chase Dowling stepped out of line a moment ago. He's looking to gain a spot, also running among the race leaders over in turn number 3. Dowling out of line into the corner, looking to pick up that position on Hirschman.
Yes, battle for the 10th position right now as he works to the inside of Matt Hirschman. Hirschman in that America 250 machine here again this weekend. The PD Motorsports entry, fresh off that win at Thompson last time out.
Just over 2 weeks ago at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, Matt Hirschman finally picking up his first win at that 5/8 mile High Banked Connecticut Oval after so many attempts, and is racing back and forth with Chase Dowling right now for about the 9th position. That's the only race 4 position as they come off of the corner. Front half of the field has singled out, no change as they go back to turn number 1. Still Beers, the race leader over Bonsignor.
Chase Dowling had a huge day here in that 44 car back in 2018. One of the longest races the Whelen Modified Tour has ever run here. The Musket 250 was a fall standalone race without the Cup Series that weekend, and Chase Dowling in dominating fashion was able to get the win that day. How about Tommy Catalano in that 54 car? To the inside, nerfing into the side of Bonsignor.
Has looked good in the early laps of this event, and now is racing among the best of the modifieds. But like Ripkema a few laps ago, might be stuck on that inside lane. We'll see. He has good momentum to the inside, moving around Bonsignor for second after passing Goodale here on the front straightaway. So Catalano on a roll right now, but may give up a spot in 3.
Bonsignor did not like that at all. Catalano cleared him pretty aggressively down in turn 2. Bonsignor says, I'm just going to take that runner-up spot back here in turn 4.
Austin Beers continues to show the way as they go back to the corner. Let's get more from the Catalano pit with Bonza running 3rd right now as there's a change up front just ahead of him.
Justin Bonsignor just taking the lead from Austin Beers. Tommy Catalano talking to his crew chief Rick Luth. They were really happy with the car yesterday in practice. They put over 60 laps on their tires to see how it would run in the long run, and they thought their car was very consistent. A lot of optimism with that 54 team, and you're seeing it on the track.
And Bonza, that has been their MO for years, to be able to run those long runs. That's where Catalano always found his strength, and that's a good place to have it as Beers goes back out in front.
Austin Beers back to the front of the field after Bonsignor led lap number 17 a moment ago. We'll see if Beers can get back around as the race leader. That drew Catalano right back to the lead duo along with Eric Goodale. In fact, call it the first half dozen or so right there, tightly bunched, Doug Kobe, Chase Dowling, and others.
There was some question as to whether or not after practice you'd see drivers be able to drive away with the race lead. We haven't seen this at all. Every lap, it seems like Bonsignor and Beers trading the lead as Bonsignor goes back to the point.
One driver coming to the front of the field, Michael Christopher Jr., that number 13 car, just out of the top 5 right now in the 6th spot, started outside of the top 15. Wasn't overly optimistic when I talked to him this morning, but maybe after a good run in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race earlier today, an extra 175 laps on the racetrack, little confidence, he's beginning to make his way forward, tucked in behind Doug Kobe.
As we said earlier, it came home 12th in the Craftsman Truck Series race a little bit ago, but when have you known Michael Christopher Jr. to really show a lot of emotion? He's pretty calm, he's pretty cool, he's collected. I know his dad was all amped up earlier, Michael Christopher, because he's going to be changing tires on that 13 later today.
He is indeed, as Christopher is back in the 7th spot, change up front once again off of turn number 4. Another lead change, and Austin Beers to the inside of Justin Bonsignor will lead lap number 20. Now the race is on for second as Goodale steps out of line.
Goodale has had a love-hate relationship with this racetrack over the years. Right now it's on the love side. He had a great run here last year. Started second in the race, has been inside the top 5 pretty much the entire race so far, and continues to feel this car out in the draft, running a solid 4th place at this point.
Goodale looking for his first win on the tour since 2022 when he won at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, running in the 4th position right now, just behind or just ahead of Michael Christopher Jr., who moves into the top 5 for the first time.
And a driver that's moving backwards is Doug Kobe. He darted out of line on the front straightaway last time through where he was running inside the top 5. He has since dropped down the running order. That 28 car does not seem to be up to pace, or is Doug Kobe saying, it's getting a little bit too racy here with 79 laps to go. I know we've got a pit stop to get tires. I don't need to be in the middle of this.
Running in the 8th spot last time by, and he slid way up the racetrack off of turn number 4. Kobe in that 28 will give up another position to the 79 of Jonathan McKennedy. Matt Hirschman is lined up behind them as we have another lead change up front. Keep an eye on that battle on the right side of your screen as the race for the lead on the left side of your screen races to turn 3, now led by Bonsignor.
Yeah, Bonsignor's got the Dollar Tree colors on that 51 this weekend. That's the entitlement sponsor for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race here at the Magic Mile. He was proud to fly those colors here in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Mohegan Sun 100. and he's kept that car at the front of the field for almost the entire race, except when Austin Beers has had something to say about it.
It's been fun watching those two go back and forth in the first quarter of this event. About to complete lap number 24 here this afternoon at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and another lead change in turn number 3. Beers back to the bottom. What a rocket shot move that was in turn number 3. Propelled him right to the front of the field. Moving around, Justin Bonsignor. Beers will lead lap 24.
This has been a great battle so far, Bonza, as Bonsignor goes back to the lead. What is the latest in the 51 camp for Justin Bonsignor?
Earlier today that he loves to run up front. Some people like to take it easy early on in the race, like Eric Goodale. His car is good, but he's biding his time. Justin Bonsignor, he loves to lead here at Loudon to set the pace and set control of the field. He was really happy with the car after making adjustments following practice on Friday. Going off their notebooks from the previous times they've scored victories here at New Hampshire. Justin's looking for win number 4.
And goes back to the front of the field once again in turn number 1 for Bonsignor over Beers. Catalano looking on, has the best seat in the house in third, watching this back and forth race for the lead. We're not even close to halfway.
Yeah, the checkered flag is a long way from now. These guys throwing haymakers at the front of the field. Beers back out in front. And boy, if you saw it a moment ago when Bonza was doing his report, the 13 car of Michael Christopher nearly came together at the entrance of turn 1 with Tommy Catalano, and boy, that could have been devastating.
That was close while racing for the 3rd spot. Christopher still part of this lead draft, although beginning to fade just a bit, has Chase Dowling looking at his inside for position 5. A slower car just in front of the leaders jammed them up for just a moment off of turn number 4. Looked like Bonsignor wanted to step out of line on Beers, but they will move around the lapped car of Corey Plummer here on the front straightaway.
What's impressive is that even with these cars up front swapping the lead, there's 6 cars that have been able to break away from the rest of the field. That next group of cars in 7th, led by Luke Baldwin, but they're a distant, probably 15 car lengths behind this lead draft.
Here comes Bonsignor back to the inside. The top 6 grouped closely together. Baldwin will give up that position further back in 7th to Ronnie Williams, who goes to his inside, as we keep an eye on the battle for the lead. Once again, back and forth for the entire distance thus far. Bonsignor and Beers. Catalano nowhere to go, and I'm sure he wants to play as well, as does Goodale and Dowling and Christopher.
The drivers will tell you before the start of the race where they want to be when it comes down to the white flag. Many will say 1st or 2nd, but I don't want to be 3rd. And I think you look at Catalano right now, his struggle to try to break up this battle for the lead shows why. If you want to win, you've got to be in the top 2 when you see the white flag.
And how much of this, Joe, as we watch another battle for the lead, Justin Bonsignor to the inside of Beers, is testing for possibly a last lap run, making these passes on drivers that you might be around in 71 laps from now?
There's always something to learn, and you're studying your competition. You're seeing where they're strong, where you're a little bit better, but you've got to do it, Kyle, when you're making those tests and that practice moves where you can't tip your hand, you can't show your cards early on in this race. And a veteran like Justin Bonsignor, he's got a number of different cards he can play. Beers has never been in this position before. Matter of fact, today, this is the first time he's ever led here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
In the 2nd spot right now, just behind Justin Bonsignor, Catalano in 3rd, and Goodale in 4th. And here comes Beers back to the inside up the backstretch. Another lead change here at New Hampshire with still 69 laps to go when they get back to the line. This has been so fun to watch between these 2 competitors at the point, 2 former champions of the Tour. Beers looking for his first win of the 2026 season, wanting to win in his championship season, or his reigning championship season for Austin, and he's been so close so many times. Showed that frustration a couple of weeks ago at Thompson, but it's out front right now, but for how long?
Not very. Here comes Justin Bonsignor right down to the inside, and that's where you've got to make the move. I know we're a long way from the finish of this one, but the runs start at the exit of turn 2. They build down the back straightaway. We saw it last year with Tyler Ripkema. So many times that pass for the win is at the entrance of turn 3, and we have seen that over and over again here today.
As we watch the battle for the lead, let's go back to the infield and hear from the driver involved in the first incident of the afternoon. Patrick Emmerling is with Bonza Tufa.
Yeah, tough setback for the championship leader, Patrick Emmerling. Patrick, what happened there in turn 1?
Right at the entry of 1, left front fell off the bead, and that was it. Rode the wall after that.
When you look at the big picture and this team, how confident are you guys in bouncing back for Stafford on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big hit for us, but yeah, it sucks for the whole USNE Power #1 team. You know, we had our issues yesterday. We found a crank trigger issue that was hurting us down the straightaways, and we were going to have a really good car. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, a parts failure made us slow in qualifying, and it started us back where we didn't need to be. And yeah, unfortunately, yeah, a little bit of tough luck. Losing a tire right at the entry to the corner, and that was that.
Physically, you're okay?
Sure, yeah, fine.
Patrick Emmerling, okay, frustrated though, as there's a lot of work being done to this one car, getting it back in the hauler.
Had a 13-point advantage in the championship standings coming into today. The driver second in points, currently second on the racetrack in Austin Beers. Just behind Justin Bonsignor, who retook the top spot a moment ago.
Got to look at Steven Kopsick a second ago. He was back in the 12th position. One car that is starting to make his way forward. Just cracked the top 10 is Ryan Preece. He started 21st on the grid. And of cars moving forward, before too long, he's going to be in the mix here.
And again, another driver that wasn't overly optimistic when I talked to him in the media center this morning, but he said it's 100 laps. It's a long way to the front, but I have a lot of time to get there. And he is managing that race car right now, closing in on the second group of traffic, just tucked in behind Luke Baldwin here on the front straightaway. And as I say that, goes right to the inside to pick up another spot. Looks to be for about the 8th position.
Yeah, he's charging toward the front of the field. Baldwin's able to use momentum in the outside lane, running the iconic yellow 7 New York this time. Honor to his late grandfather who drove this car on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. And Ryan Preece, you know him from Sundays running the 60 in the NASCAR Cup Series, but 40 is a family car. This is a car that he started his Whelen Modified Tour career in. His dad, Jeff, put this car together. They've been working on it in Connecticut. Ryan came up to help finish it up this week, and they're back here at Loudon, and he knows winning at this racetrack is so important for him and momentum as he tries to make the chase for this year's NASCAR Cup Series championship.
That's the business for tomorrow. Today, it's about having some fun here in the modifieds, and the caution comes out for the second time in this event here on lap number 37. Looking to see an issue around the racetrack, and from our position, Joe, I don't see any. Maybe some debris or a slower car in turn 2. Looks to be Corey Plummer, but he continues to roll.
There were a couple of cars that had gotten pretty high up in turns 1 and 2 up beyond the main racing group, but everybody was able to continue on as we come under the second caution of the day here. 62 laps to go in the Mohegan Sun 100, and Kyle, this sets up the opportunity. You're just a little shy of the pit window. Do you take tires here? Do you just take fuel only? You need a little bit of fuel, a couple gallons, to be able to get to the finish here in the Mohegan Sun 100.
Time will tell when pit lane opens. Right now it is closed. The red light flashing at the head end of the pit lane, so we'll see if there are any takers when pit road opens here in just a lap or so, as Austin Beers continues the lead over Justin Bonsignor in second. Tommy Catalano, Eric Goodale, and Chase Dowling, that's the top 5. Michael Christopher Jr. was a part of that lead pack in 6th. Then it was Jonathan McKennedy, Ronnie Williams, Luke Baldwin, and as we were talking about a moment ago, Ryan Preece pulling double duty here today, triple duty here this weekend. Ran a late model at Thunder Road just a couple of nights ago, so it's been a busy week for him up here in his home region.
Well, he actually went to the Red Sox game.
He did
the
last
other day
night
too,
yeah.
and threw out the opening pitch. I mean, I think he tried to. He had his daughter on the hip. I don't think it was nearly a strike. I think it was a high ball.
A very high ball.
I was trying to be, gentle, but
it got across the plate.
It got across the plate, probably better than I would do. But he was down there along with his RFK Racing teammates, of course. RFK Racing, the Fenway Group, and the Boston Red Sox all tied together. So a home race, an important day for them. He'll start 18th in the race here tomorrow. But lots of work to be done here on pit lane. And Kyle, these guys that are down on pit road, these are not the professional athletes that you're used to having in the NASCAR Cup Series and on the National Series. These are the guys next door. They're your neighbor, and you see them around town. They're out here slinging tires and packing these cars full of fuel. It gets exciting. And this year, just like any other series in NASCAR, is where races are often won and lost.
They're people that you, like you mentioned, you see in town, you say, hey, want to come help me in New Hampshire this weekend? I need a tire changer, I need a jack man. I need a fueler, and those folks are about to be put to work as all of the lead lap cars are making the hard left-hand turn onto the pit lane. Slow speed on pit road for Michael Christopher Jr., who is the first to reach his pit stall. Justin Bonsignor, Chase Dowling, all of the race leaders on the pit lane, and we'll begin our pit coverage with Bonza Tufa down in the infield. Bonza, they're all coming at you.
Austin Beers all the way down in pit stall number 1. He came in with a car that is a 1 out of 10 loose. This pit stop, they're going to take tires. They're going to change all 4 tires on the 64 machine, and then they'll come back around and pull fuel on the car. Several cars, Ryan Priest, Matt Hirschman, Eric Goodale, quick pit stops. It looks like they took gas only. Beers going to be way in the back of the field because he took tires. He'll come back around for a quick stop next time by to put some gas in it.
Something new this week where you could only take 2 tires in a lot of races prior to today, allowed to take 4 in a single stop here this afternoon in New Hampshire, and Austin Beers electing to take all 4 of those tires. Looked like Doug Coby along with Tyler Ripkema doing the same, but you mentioned it, Joe, you can't take fuel and tires on the same round of stops, so we expect to see most everybody back on pit road here for a second time.
And you know, the sequence of what you do is really interesting because do you take tires first? Do you take fuel first? Is it faster one way or another? Justin Bonsignor has some advantage on pit lane. You look at Austin Beers, where is he? He's mired deep in the pack, so now Bonsignor is going to come in and they're going to come around. They're going to get their tires now as they've got a little bit of a cleaner entry into pit road.
Chase Dowling and Stephen Kopsick among some cars, about a half dozen or so, that elected to stay on the racetrack, so they are not coming in a second time, as most of the field returns to the pit lane to either take the tires if they took fuel the first time, or fuel this time if they took tires a lap ago. So we'll see how this all shakes out. We'll check back in with Bonza on the pit lane for this second lap of stops here under our second caution of the afternoon.
Just a couple seconds of fuel for Austin Beers. He's gone, and critically, he came out ahead of Justin Bonsignor. No chassis adjustments on that 64.
All right, thank you very much, Bonza, down on the pit lane. So we'll reset things for you here in just a moment. Baldwin, the first off of pit road by quite a margin over everybody else, including Austin Beers and Justin Bonsignor, but there were several drivers that elected to stay on the racetrack. We'll let the field gather back up and reset it for you as we get set for the restart and the final 59 laps of the Mohegan Sun 100 from New Hampshire. Back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we continue under this second caution flag of the event, 42 of 100 laps complete in the Mohegan Sun 100. Chase Dowling shown as the race leader, a little bit of pit strategy, cycling him to the front of the field over Stephen Kopsick, Matt Kimball, Andrew Moeller, and Ronnie Williams. So some new faces in the top 5 for the restart. A lot of drivers that doubled up on the pit lane. We'll start deeper in the field in the second half of the top 10.
Yeah, a long way to go here for these drivers. So Teddy Hodgson, Jonathan McKennedy, they stayed out. Luke Baldwin came in. He'll start 9th. Austin Beers, 10th. Justin Bonsignor, Matt Hirschman, Dave Sapienza, Eric Goodale, Craig Lutz. That's your top 15.
And everybody from 9th on back making 2 stops under this round or under this caution flag. You can't take tires and fuel on a single trip to pit road, so if you want to do both, you have to come to pit road twice, and most everybody did, except for the drivers that stayed out a second time among the top 8. Joe ran you back through the top 15 a moment ago. Matt Hirschman in 12th, Sapienza 13th, Craig Lutz 14th, Tyler Ripkema in 15th, and it's John Michael Chanette, Ken Hagee, Doug Coby, going to be mired in traffic when we go back under green in 18th, Paulie Hardwick, Ryan Newman round out the top 20.
Yeah, so there's your top 20 here of the 30 so far. We'll run you down the rest. Jacob Perry, Trevor Catalano, Tommy Catalano, Ryan Priest 24th. We're going to update you there in a second. Eric Goodale is 25th. Michael Christopher back in 26th. 27th, Corey DiMatteo, Corey Plummer, Andy Seiss, and Patrick Emmerling. Only 3 laps into the race, will not finish here today.
Out early on here this afternoon for Patrick Emmerling after getting into the outside wall. In fact, riding the outside wall for about 100 or so yards over in turn number 1, put that car out of the race early on.
The car that was running toward the front of the field here today had a penalty on pit lane. Eric Goodale ran over pit equipment, and he will have to go to the back of the pack. Kyle, we were watching the pit stop of Ryan Priest. He had raced his way into the top 10. It looked like they came down pit road 3 different times here under this caution period. It appeared as though he came down the first time, got fuel because he was the first car off of pit lane, was poised to come back down again. But we saw him alone on pit road getting left side tires only. It looks like instead of taking 4 on their stop, they took 2 the first stop, 2 the second stop, and then 2 on the third stop on pit road.
3 total stops, we believe, for Ryan Priest. Fuel only on the first lap, right sides on the second, and then he came back a 3rd time. And we learned earlier this week from Gary Putnam, the series director, that you were allowed to take all 4 tires on a single stop. And I'm not sure if that team got the memo.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, just seeing that from what we were looking at here. You don't typically change left side tires only in a modified. If you're going to take 2 tires, you're going to take the 2 rear tires. And so we saw that crew going to work. Ryan Priest will have to restart this race back in the 24th position. Ready to get back under the green flag here. Front row looks a little bit different. These 2 guys won the race together back in 2018. Chase Dowling in the 44 as a driver. Steven Kopchik in the 21. He was a crew chief that day. Now they're on the front row getting ready to go here in New Hampshire.
And that 44 Chase Dowling entry, always strong here at the racetrack. Won multiple times with Bobby Santos the 3rd behind the wheel. Chase Dowling has gone to victory lane. Could be a potent combination here this afternoon as they go back to turn number 1. And is Dowling at the point in the outside lane. Andrew Moeller looking to take the 2nd spot away. He's that orange car, 2nd in line topside with Steven Kopchik to the bottom.
Down to turns 1 and 2, progressive banking, 2 degrees, nearly flat at the bottom, 7 at the top. And these modifieds like running that 3rd, that upward groove. They're using a lot of this racetrack here in the Magic Mile.
4 laps shy of the halfway mark, and it's Dowling at the point. Moeller in 2nd as they go back to turn number 1. Watching some of those drivers come up through the field that made multiple pit stops, and they've kind of stalled out in traffic right now, including Austin Beers, who is just outside of the top 5. Matt Hirschman making a charge up the back straightaway. Had a run, but nowhere to go as they were stacked up side by side in front of him upon entry into the corner.
Now we'll really see what Austin Beers is made of. He's got a car that he's got to fight through traffic with. We knew how good he was up front. Same for Bonsignor. Bonsignor, after the pit stop, cycled back to 12th.
Here comes Jonathan McKennedy to the inside of Anthony Nocella in turn number 2. Then it's Beers next in line. Corey Plummer on the pit lane in front of us as he continues to experience mechanical issues. First time here to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway as the leaders string out at the front. Justin Bonsignor stepping out of line further back. So a lot of strong race cars that we saw at the front of the field in the first half of this race, first 42 laps, having to come up through some traffic and past some cars that are on a different pit strategy here as we set up for the second half.
Chase Dowling out in front. Bonza, he's very strong here this afternoon. What can you tell us about the driver of car number 44?
With the car, he said it's just a bit on the free side, but talking to the crew, they only took fuel because they want to try a different strategy and keep an eye on the sky as the clouds set in here at Loudon. So they're thinking, in terms of the big picture, seeing if we even get to lap 100 and being in the right place at the right time in case the elements change.
And they have been changing. We've seen sunshine. We've seen a lot of cloud cover for a majority of today. And that dreaded R word has stayed away from us. But the ceiling beginning to get a little lower off the back straightaway over in turn number 3. So we'll see how the weather elements play out here over the next 50 laps, coming to halfway this time by in the Mohegan Sun 100. Chase Dowling shows the way, 50 down and 50 to go. With Steven Kopchik in 2nd, here's Jonathan McKennedy stepping out of line on Andrew Moeller. He'll take over that 3rd spot.
With what we've seen today, I hope we get the full 100 distance. We're halfway now. The strategy that Bonza Tufa was talking about a moment ago, fuel only, it tires tend not to wear out in lap speed. You see that now. There's not a lot of what we'd call fall off in the speed with Chase Dowling out in front, but what I do think new tires gets you that'll be valuable at the end of the race is going to be maneuverability. It's going to give you a car that you can put inside, middle, and outside. When everybody else is slip sliding around on tires that they took with 62 laps to go, I think that's awfully early to get your tires. I think that's going to give anybody who didn't take those tires yet an upper hand when we get deeper into this race.
Time will tell, and of course it all depends on when the cautions fly, if they fly, and how many laps to go, and we have a lot of cars still on the lead lap. So if he makes a stop, he's going to have to come from really deep in the field, potentially outside of the top 20, and depending on how many laps remaining when that stop, if that stop is made, could limit his time to get back toward the front of the field, which is where he is right now over in turn number 2, and in fact doing a nice job in pulling away about the largest lead that we have seen all afternoon, getting away from Steven Kopsick. And there's Tyler Ripkema trying to gain a spot just into the, or just out of the, just about into the top 10, running for 9th with Nocella.
Yeah, working his way forward. Will slide up in front of Anthony Nocella, take that spot away. Here's Craig Lutz in the 31, darting down to the inside lane. He jumped inside this car here this weekend as Michael Christopher Jr. jumped to the family number 13 for the race of the Magic Mile.
At 31, the Elite Motorsports entry, and doing a nice job. Gaining a spot over in turn number 2 is Lutz up the back straightaway, as they have really stretched it out here. Battle further back.
Trouble down into turn number 3. Two cars got together as they got into the corner. It was Dave Zapienza, a Hail Mary shot into Matt Hirschman. Hirschman not happy about it. Smoke and sparks flying in turn 3.
Austin Beers at the same moment was taking the 4th spot away from Andrew Moeller as his climb toward the front continues for Austin. Now is on the back bumper of Jonathan McKennedy for 3rd. Kopsick is there in 2nd as we see a little bit of damage to that Matt Hirschman, number 60.
Boy, that's pretty significant here, too, for Matt Hirschman. You don't want to upset that spoiler. You need that downforce at a track like New Hampshire. And, boy, Matt Hirschman, I guarantee, is hot under the helmet after Zapienza just sailed it in there on the bottom in turn 3.
Hirschman, most recent winner on the tour a couple of weeks ago at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. Having a good run early on here, but a little bit of contact may slow his progress for Matt as he makes his way off of turn number 2, about a half a straightaway behind the race leader, who, surprisingly or not, to some perhaps, Chase Dowling pulling away as we watch a torrid battle with Justin Bonsignor.
Bonsignor trying to hold off Ronnie Williams. He was battling with him at the back half of the top 5. And here is Chase Dowling, a pretty healthy advantage over John McKennedy, but McKennedy's starting to reel him in. He's just a tick faster than Chase Dowling has been over the past couple of laps.
And Austin Beers is reeling all of them in as he just took over the 3rd spot from Steven Kopsick going into turn number 1. And here he comes just out of frame for Austin Beers, within 2 car lengths now of Jonathan McKennedy. Is Austin. Now Kopsick trying to fend off Andrew Moeller. Just behind them, they are the 4th and 5th cars on your screen as they race into turn number 1. Baldwin stepping out of line as well into 7 on Ronnie Williams for the 7th spot.
Tommy Baldwin running that yellow 7 New York we alluded to earlier. His dad, Tom Baldwin, turning the wrenches on this thing. Freddie Kraft is the spotter for this one, the spotter for Bubba Wallace in the NASCAR Cup Series. He usually comes in here, and honestly, you hear Freddie Kraft will joke about it. They have not had good luck at Loudon over the past couple of years. It's good to see him even get to the halfway point, let alone be running as strong as they are here today in 7th.
Running just on the hot on the hip of Justin Bonsignor right now. Both of them trying to move around the Andrew Moeller car. Moeller in 5th, Bonsignor 6th, Baldwin 7th, Ronnie Williams in the 8th spot. And here's another move in turn number 3. A good run for Andrew Moeller, the SK Modified champion, showing well here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour this season. A little bit of a late start, but has rallied in the championship standings here in recent weeks and is currently 4th, rallying here on the racetrack.
And he's working his way towards a potential best finish in the Whelen Modified Tour, which right now sits at 8th. He's having a great run today. 2nd generation racer. His dad raced in the Whelen Modified Tour before him. Had a handful of starts there as Bonsignor darts to the inside of the 82 of Andrew Moeller. But you look at next week and where they're going. He's going to that racetrack that he won that SK Modified Championship with at Andrew Moeller a couple of years ago. A little bit of momentum here would be good for the 82 team.
That racetrack at the Stafford Motor Speedway next Friday night. First time the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour has been to the Stafford Motor Speedway in 5 years, and that'll take place on Friday night under the lights as Moeller tries to retake that position from Justin Bonsignor, 4th and 5th on the racetrack. Moeller, not a lot of experience here, 27 laps, in fact, just a couple of years ago before an incident on the racetrack. That was in 2019. Been a long time since he has been here to the Magic Mile, but you would never know it here the way he is running in the first 61 laps of today's event.
Justin Bonsignor has been on the charge as of late. Bonza, what's the story for the team 51?
Well, on the pit stop under caution, Justin Bonsignor's team made no adjustments. He's fairly happy with the car, pretty neutral with that 51 machine as he tries to make his way forward. A couple drivers that had issues. Tommy Catalano, we saw him up there in the top 5 in the first run. They had an equipment issue with one of their pit guns on the first tire pit stop. They had to take 2 right sides, get him out, and then come back around to take 2 left sides on top of a fuel stop. So 3 spots in total. He was working Matt Hirschman, who is struggling with grip, especially with the damage on the left rear after contact with Sapienza.
And Hirschman continues to go into line as they come off of turn number 4. There's Moeller and Bonsignor racing off of turn number 4 as they race for position number 4.
Good action here. Bonsignor holding off Moeller. Things have settled in a little bit. Pretty common this part of the race. You get to that middle third or so and things settle down, but maybe not for long in the battle for the race lead there on the left. 44 Chase Dowling, the 79 former series champion John McKennedy, who is really good at this racetrack. So far, we have seen 18 lead changes in this one, and I know we have not seen the last one yet.
We have not, and that large lead that Dowling had built a couple of laps ago is all but gone. McKennedy closing in, as Joe mentioned, and he's bringing Austin Beers with him. Beers, perhaps the fastest car on the racetrack right now, running in 3rd and hunting down McKennedy for position number 2. So a lot of great battling among the top 5. Well behind them, Bonsignor in 4th, Andrew Moeller and Luke Baldwin 5th and 6th. As we have kind of separated the leaders into packs, and Dowling gets away again at the front. That Tineo car always strong here in New Hampshire.
Interesting whether or not, if this goes to the finish, if those tires will hold up, and whether or not that pit strategy is just a fuel-only race for Danny Gamache and the entire 44 team driven by Chase Dowling. That battle for second heating up, though. Austin Beers is putting pressure on the second-place car of John McKennedy. Luke Baldwin on the charge. He wants to get by Andrew Moeller.
And will do so in turn number 4, so Moeller will lose another spot, will fall out of the top 5, move Baldwin up into the 5th spot, and now go to the inside of Justin Bonsignor for position number 4. Jonathan McKennedy, meanwhile, in the 2nd spot, second on your screen, just behind Chase Dowling, just within a couple of car lengths up the back straightaway. Let's get more from his pit with Bonzo.
Yeah, John McKennedy on the radio, silent. Everybody here in the 79 pit stall pretty relaxed. They're kind of looking up towards the sky because they know McKennedy's at a tire disadvantage with Austin Beers behind him with 4 fresh American Racer tires. So John McKennedy has a good car. It's just a matter of working those tires over as the laps click away.
McKennedy, the veteran, Bonza, he is so good when you get deep into a run. He's known for long run speed. He spent a lot of time racing up here in New England in races where you can't change tires and you've got to conserve your equipment. 2 wins this season, a 2022 Whelen Modified Tour Championship, but he wants one here in the Magic Mile and he's in contention.
Making his 119th career start here today is Jonathan McKennedy, and continues to chip away at race leader Chase Dowling as the laps continue to dwindle here. 32 laps to go, and Austin Beers joins them at the front of the field. A 3-way race up front as we head to the final third of this event.
That's a brand new race car for Austin Beers in that 64. They actually bought the car a year ago. It's been in the shop. The team has meticulously prepared it for this race. They have spent a tremendous amount of time to be able to debut it here and be in contention. They want to win here in Loudon. It has shown a tremendous amount of speed with the pole here yesterday, and he has tracked down the race leader after that pit stop. And now he's in contention. The top 3 nose to tail off the end of the back straightaway.
10 car length lead just a couple of laps ago for Chase Dowling has all but evaporated. Here comes Jonathan McKennedy. Here comes Austin Beers, who had to carve his way through traffic. Luke Baldwin off the pace, was running in the top 5. He slows off of turn number 4 and will head to the pit lane in car number 7.
That might be the announcer curse. We were talking about it a moment ago. with Baldwin and that team, the 7 New York, having trouble. The pressure is on for these teams. Chase Dowling out in front. McKennedy is there, and Kyle, the weather is starting to move in here at Loudon. This could be ending a little sooner than we think. We're starting to see maybe a little bit of sprinkles here, even from our position in the broadcast booth. Chase Dowling and John McKennedy racing for what could be the end of the race here today.
A little bit of moisture falling, but for now we stay under the green flag with 29 laps to go, and John McKennedy sees that moisture falling and he knows it is time to go. Had a look to the inside of Chase Dowling, unable to make the move. Dowling will hang on to the race lead for now with Austin Beers right there looking on in third, and the caution flag comes out.
Caution is out, and Chase Dowling will come across the line with 29 laps across the line, make it 28 for Dowling, and he leads here in the Mohegan Sun 100 as a little bit of sprinkle starts to fall upon the window here at the tower at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So Chase Dowling, the race leader, John McKennedy across the line in second, and Austin Beers riding in third as the skies continue to darken here in New Hampshire.
And the ceiling continues to get a little bit lower here over the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And with less than 30 laps to go, we'll see if we can get back under the green flag. If you're watching today's race live on FloRacing 24/7's channel, welcome. This is an exclusive look at the kind of action FloRacing streams all year long. Dirt, pavement, drag racing, and everything in between. Visit FloRacing.com to access 1,000 plus races live and on demand.
Let's check in on pit road with Bonza.
Yeah, John McKennedy's crew, they're just like, they gave me the gesture so close there because they told McKennedy it's time to go because the rain was picking up. They told him, make your move, and he tried. They took 2 tires on their pit stop compared to Dowling, who didn't take tires, and then Beers, who took 4. McKennedy just couldn't quite get it done in time. We'll see what happens, but the 79 team bummed out because they were so close in their eyes to get the lead before the yellow came out.
A light mist has turned into a little bit more as a lot of folks in the grandstand beginning to take cover here below us on the front straightaway as we work caution for the 3rd time in today's race. 27 laps to go, and Chase Dowling leads the way over John McKennedy and Austin Beers, the top 3 here in New Hampshire. Back in New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour under the 3rd caution flag of the event, which is about to turn into a red flag as they have pulled the field onto pit lane, and the red light's about to be illuminated here around this racetrack 26 laps shy of the finish because of a light rain that has fallen over the Magic Mile.
And as we were just talking during the commercial break, might just be a little fog that's settling in here.
Nothing on the radar.
A low cloud cover. We were looking at the radar, and of course we are professional meteorologists, about as professional at that as we are at calling races. But when you look at it, not really a lot going on as far as that is concerned, but a low cloud cover here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway has rolled in. Really hasn't fully rained yet, just a bit of a mist where you can't have these cars out on track. But Kyle, the call for Danny Gamache and the Ateneo group to take fuel only puts them in position to win this race regardless of the red flag. He led a majority of that section after we took that pit stop there. It's a good 30 laps or so, and finds himself firmly in command with an opportunity to win here today.
While everyone else was seemingly looking at lap 100, he was looking at the sky, and that might pay off for that Ateneo race team, the 44 for Chase Dowling. Shown as the race leader. Want to know what radar he was looking at, because the one we saw looked clear.
Maybe he has a professional meteorologist on his team.
Does.
Maybe that's where that goes. He is still in the car. He's got his helmet on. I mean, if I were him, I'd be taking the helmet off and doing a rain dance and making sure everybody knew we can't race in these conditions, as he's the race leader. But he's still in the race car, helmet on, as many of the other drivers are as well, as we wait the word from NASCAR officials as the next steps and how the track looks before we can see if we can get this race back underway.
Car covers going on top of the race cars as well to try to keep them as dry as possible. The other thing that you have to think about at this time of day is daylight. Daylight gets a little shorter every day this time of year, and unfortunately with the cloud cover, that will shorten it even more. Still have some time left before those decisions are made, but something to keep in mind if we have to go through a track drying process for the final 26 laps of this event.
We're fortunate here at Loudon. Now, there's no lights here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but a handful of years ago at this track, used to have the ACT tour that would run here. And one night, it almost felt like a movie where it's like, everybody turn on your headlights and try to put some light on the racetrack. The video board here at the track is very bright here. And even in the Cup Series, Eric Almirola won a race that seemed like they were racing into the evening, and NASCAR had put the timestamp on that race and said, we're going to race until X time, and then race is going to be over. So we have gone late into the night before here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Hopefully that's not the case here today, and we can get this track dried and get back underway in the green flag for the final 26 laps of this one.
One of the first races I ever worked for radio here in 2004, a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series event, called short due to rain. I remember those last caution laps, so the last couple of caution flags, all you saw were the lights of the pace car up the back straightaway. So we're not at that point yet. In fact, we're a pretty good distance from that point, but something we do have to keep in mind as we do get later in the day here in New Hampshire. As looks like drivers beginning to climb from their cars. We hope to hear from some of them here in just a moment. Still 26 laps to go. Caution for the third time has turned into our first red flag of the event due to the falling precipitation from the sky, and the ceiling continues to lower off the end of the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like the light mist. Now full drops coming over the grandstands here. So haven't totally lost the racetrack yet, but it looks like we are close as we look at Chase Dowling chatting with some of his crew here on the front straightaway, and Justin Bonsignor is also climbed from his car.
You go back to that 2018 win in the Musket 250 for Chase Dowling. That race very different, really raced like a cup race because you had so many pit stops, so many different strategy plays, and it was a lot of fun to cover that race. I covered that race down on pit road when we did it then, and I looked through it, and I asked Chase Dowling earlier this week, I said, Chase, how different are the cars today than they were then? He said, honestly, I think the package that we brought here today, and Dowling, if you don't know him, is a good mechanic as well. He did a lot of the work on those race cars back then. It wasn't just driving them. He said the package that we've got here is very similar to what we ran before. So as much has changed in the sport of NASCAR, and over that period of time, nearly a decade, a lot has remained the same.
And we see that a lot with the modified tour, especially. Doesn't evolve nearly as quick as the national series of the sport, the NASCAR Cup Series, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series that competed here earlier today. Dowling has had a good year, this being just his 5th start. I had a 9th at the Thompson Icebreaker, a 3rd and a 2nd at both of the Seekonk races, and a 4th the last time out at the Thompson Speedway just about a week and a half or so ago. So when he shows up, he contends and has contended for much of the second half of this event. Much in part due to the pit strategy.
That's always been really hard to do in the wheel modified tour because This is a series that requires excellence on pit lane. Steven Kopchik told me this morning in the garage area, he said, we won 2 races earlier in the year, and it had a lot to do with our pit strategy and our crew being able to get us out so quickly. There's Ryan Newman, who in the rain won his first Cup Series race here at this racetrack back in 2022, 24 years ago, 2002, excuse me, 24 years ago. So he knows what it's like to be in the rain here at New Hampshire. But getting back, you mentioned pit strategy for Chase Dowling and that team. It is so hard to get these Whelen Modified Tour races figured out because I don't think anybody would have thought a fuel-only strategy was going to be a potential winning strategy here today. Whether it ends right now or it goes the final 26 laps of this one, I would have thought you had to at least get tires. That wasn't the case, and these guys really turned the strategy up on its head.
In a race weekend where there's been a lot of tire talk coming into this weekend, and it might be that strategy that wins Chase Dowling the event here this afternoon, although we continue to wait this one out. Under the red flag with 26 laps to go here in New Hampshire, we wait as the rain continues to fall lightly over this 1 mile oval. Back in New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we continue to wait out Mother Nature as a light sprinkle has fallen over the racetrack here in the last 20 minutes or so, and cars are parked on the pit lane as we are under the red flag. Let's go down to pit road now and hear from some of the drivers as they have climbed from their car, and Bonza Tufa is down there to chat with some of them and get their thoughts after the first 74 laps of this event.
Michael Christopher Jr. here with me, and he's had an up and down day in the Modified Tour race. Started mid-pack, got up to just outside the top 5, lost a lot of spots on pit road, back to 6th. How about the car today and the drive you've had?
Car's great right now. That first run was really loose for us, and I think everyone was sliding around for the most part. But I took full advantage of everyone trying to figure it out in the beginning, shooting it to the bottom, trying to get as many spots as I can and try and get up front. Eventually we got to that pack where we broke away there, and that's exactly where I wanted to be, just to log laps. I probably couldn't keep passing people that first run because the car was too loose, but we came down pit road. My guys, I think, are still changing the tires. It's taken that long, but we made the right adjustments, chassis-wise to make it good. So I don't know, we went from 28th to 6th there in 20 laps. So I just want this thing to get back going because they're all done.
Oh, you're that confident if we go back green, huh?
I'm pretty confident right now, man. I hate to get like that, but, man, that's a good race car right there. So just huge thank you to all my guys. Obviously, I was out doing truck stuff, so they had to get everything together for me for the race today, and they prepared a really good race car. So thanks to my dad, obviously, first and foremost, Joe Mooch for helping out on setup, Marcus on tires, and Dylan, Chris, Christopher, all the other guys that help us, all my dad's friends too. So Mohawk Northeast and USNE Power coming on to help us here. Beautiful race car, beautiful race truck too. So yeah, I'm just hoping the rain stops.
Tell you what, guys, we've seen Michael Christopher Jr. drive with confidence, and he's very confident if we can get back going today.
Currently shown in the 6th position for Michael Christopher Jr., fresh off a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series effort of 12th earlier this afternoon, driving for Halmer Friesen Racing. His 3rd start of the season in the series, obviously wanting to grow more and more into the National Series of NASCAR is Michael Christopher Jr., and I think he has proven himself in the last year that he has run a very select few events. He's run well.
He really has, and even earlier today started up on the front row into the final stage of the race and had a battle with a bit of an older tire strategy. Still was able to come home 12th after a wild several slate of restarts and an overtime finish earlier in the day today. So credit to him. It was fun watching him. If you go back to the Ram race for a seat earlier this winter and just seeing him compete for an opportunity to race in the Craftsman Truck Series. Didn't get that opportunity to be full-time with Colleague Racing in the Ram group, but did certainly make the most of the opportunity he had earlier in the day today.
After a slow start to the season, Christopher has gained some ground here in recent weeks in the championship standings outside of an electrical issue at the Monadnock Speedway a couple of weeks ago. Had a 4th place run at the White Mountain Motorsports Park and 8th at Claremont, coming off a 12th place at the Thompson Speedway a couple of weeks ago. So Christopher, a little bit of momentum on his side right now and really wanting to finish up the final 26 laps of today's race.
Let's go back down to pit road and Bonza Tufa.
Another driver who's had a roller coaster day today is Ryan Priest. He lost a lot of spots after dealing with issues on pit road. What happened down there on pit road under caution?
Just a little bit of family fun. So it was, you know, we come here and we have a lot of us. We don't do this full time, and we came around and we saw a left rear tire wasn't to our liking and came and changed the left sides as well. So kind of gave up all the track position. Car drives pretty good. Just interested to see what happens if this missile stops so we can keep racing, because I really feel like after about 15-20 laps we're relatively pretty good.
Do you think the track is changing a little bit now with this sprinkle going on for the last 20 minutes?
Well, usually when it's wet, it's not good, right? But right now it stopped misting, and obviously I don't believe we lost the racetrack, which is good. And, you know, having fun, you know, racing with the Whelen Modified Tour and you know, Gary Putnam and a lot of these guys, I enjoy it. So it's what I like to do, and would I have liked a little more track position to maybe dice it up with some of the guys closer to the front? Yes, but we'll hopefully if we go green, we can work our way there with our racechoice.com Mohawk Northeast Modified.
Ryan Priest back in the top 10, charging forward, looking for more time to continue that charge.
Yeah, Bonza, and look who's watching him here in the modified race today. It's Derek Finley, his crew chief of the NASCAR Cup Series. I think he's going to indoctrinate all these Cup guys with modified racing here this weekend.
They are here, and they are very interested in what has been happening on the racetrack over the last hour or so. The focus shortly, once this race concludes, hopefully at lap 100, we'll shift to tomorrow and the NASCAR Cup Series Dollar Tree 301. For the Cup cars, there's Justin Bonsignor sporting the Dollar Tree colors here in today's NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race, currently shown in the 4th position.
You know, he ran the ARCA Menard Series race in Daytona last season, and he did the same thing. He grabbed one of the track sponsors there as part of his ARCA Menard Series sponsorship. I think he's got a little strategy going there. I think that's a good business play.
If it works.
It did.
And it's working and paying off perhaps for Justin, who we see back here in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour for the first time in a number of events this season. Ryan Newman hanging out trackside.
Ryan Stone, crew chief of the 51 on the far left, who he's talking to. Now, there's an interesting conversation there, a lot of experience between those two guys. Stone, who used to work with Junior Motorsports, actually on the 7 car as a car chief and a mechanic there. Let's go back down to pit road in Bonza.
I'm with our defending winner of the Mohegan Sun 100, Tyler Ripkema, who came in with a lot of optimism. Different car compared to what you ran here last season. Started 3rd, back in 13th. What has been the struggle for you guys?
Yeah, just overall really free right now. I think between the truck rubber and having a little bit of the rain here, it wasn't helping any, but yeah, we got to make a swing at it. This is kind of good for us. We get to hit pause, talk it over, know what we got to do here different for the last 26 laps, 25 laps. We have a plan. We know what we're going to do to help the car out a lot, and we'll go forward from here. But yeah, just overall way too free all the way through the corner and drive off.
You're not going to disclose that plan to us, are you?
Of course not.
That's Tyler Ripkema joking around as they try to figure out how to get their 3-car dialed in and get Old Blue back in victory lane.
Currently shown in the 13th spot for the defending race winner. Started up front, faded in the opening laps of this event, and trying to get back toward the front of the field here before we reach lap number 100 as we continue to sit under the red flag as track drying set to commence here on the front straightaway. Shouldn't be much longer if the rain continues to let up and the track continues to dry. We'll get this one back underway for the final 26 laps here in New Hampshire. Chase Dowling leads under the red flag. Continuing in a weather delay here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Under the red flag, 74 of 100 laps complete. But good news from the pit lane, Joe. There is movement.
They are starting to uncover the race cars. I mean, there's good news for everybody but Chase Dowling at this point. But the race fans have stuck out here. They want to see this race get back under the green flag. Everybody from second on back wants to, and we do as well. Racetrack is looking better. They've taken some of the jets around the front straightaway. They're working off turn 2 now. And what we like to say is the track is starting to gray up a little bit, meaning it's starting to look a little bit more dry, and it looks like we'll be able to get this race back under the green flag.
Never really completely lost the racetrack where all that gray goes away, and should take just a very quick pass or two by the jet blowers to get this racetrack in race-ready shape.
Well, how about Justin Bonsignore? He's a driver that has had a tremendous amount of success here at this racetrack. Now, he's a 3-time winner. The first one came in 2016, but you've got to watch this one here back in 2023. It was an epic battle that Justin Bonsignore had with Doug Coby with an opportunity to win another one here at the Magic Mile.
The second of his 3 wins here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, right to the inside in turn number 3. Full commitment with that 51 car coming to the white flag. Still a long way to go, and it was going to be a great finish, and was here 3 years ago.
Coby was going for his 4th career win. It'd have to wait for another day as Bonsignore got the win. 24 lead changes that day. Coming back the following year, it was Justin Bonsignore led 76 laps to get his 3rd victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. His last one coming back in 2024.
That dominant afternoon coming 2 years ago here in this race for Justin Bonsignor. Looking for win number 4 here at the Magic Mile here this afternoon. He has yet to climb back into his car, although that looks to be imminent as he continues to talk with some of his other competitors down on the pit lane.
Austin Beers. They were together the entire first part of this race before that pit stop. Epic battle we were talking about with Kobe and Bonsignor. We had one earlier today. What a race we have seen so far today. At last count, we were up to 18 lead changes before the red flag. Just tremendous action here today.
And those are just lead changes at the start-finish line. Eric Goodale and Ryan Newman in conversation on the pit lane.
It's been great having Ryan Newman part of this series. Just loves to race, has been running the modified tour on and off even when he was in his Cup Series career. 4 wins, including wins here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Grabbed a couple at the Bristol Motor Speedway when the series ran there as well. And he's just hanging out with the rest of the guys, and he enjoys being in this garage area.
He's really done a nice job diving deep into the modified community in general, whether it be here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, runs a lot of the Southern Series down south as well, makes some occasional trips up north to run some of the big open shows. So good to see Ryan Newman participating here in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, and we'll start mid-pack when we go back under the green flag, hopefully here shortly. A race that is currently led under the red by Chase Dowling. Then it's Jonathan McKennedy, Austin Beers, Justin Bonsignor, and Andrew Moeller, the top 5.
6th, Michael Christopher. 7th is Dave Zapienza. Ronnie Williams sits 8th. Doug Kobe 9th, and Ryan Preece in 10th.
And Stephen Kopsick, all these cars still on the lead lap in 11th. Craig Lutz in 12th. Tyler Ripkema in 13th. Tommy Catalano in 14th. And then Trevor Catalano in the 15th spot. Jacob Perry doing a nice job in 16th. Matt Hirschman 17th. Ryan Newman 18th. Eric Goodale 19th. And Paulie Hardwick, the 3rd, will round out the top 20.
21st is Matt Kimball. Anthony Nocella runs 22nd. 23rd, Teddy Hodgson. Corey DiMatteo, 24th. 25th, John Michael Chenette. Ken Hagee is 26th. 27th, Corey Plummer. Luke Baldwin out of the race. He's back in 28th, as is Andy Seiss and Patrick Emmerling, the series point leader, who will finish last today after a crash in turns 1 and 2.
Doug Kobe climbing back in his car, so most everybody getting back in their cars on the pit lane now, and we're just a matter of a couple of moments away from refiring the engines and rolling them back out onto the racetrack, and hopefully we'll finish this one to its conclusion. Still 26 laps to go. Mentioned getting down to it in the championship battle as well here this season. Just 4 races remain after today. Next week, off to the Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut for the GAF 150 next Friday night. Then in a couple of weeks' time, on September 5th, the Oswego Speedway. Then on September 19th, the second stop of the year to the Riverhead Raceway on Long Island, before crowning a champion on October 11th, part of World Series weekend at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park.
An incredible slate of races to wrap up the season. Great to see the championship come back to Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park as it had been for many, many years. But I think even better, a track that I know I started announcing at years ago, nearly 2 decades ago now, hard to believe, Stafford Motor Speedway. You are the voice of Stafford Speedway, and I know there's a lot of excitement of being part of that program and having the Whelen Modified Tour back in town.
A lot of plans for Friday night with the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Ticket sales are great, expecting a near capacity crowd on Friday night. Great entry list as well, approaching 30 when the tour checks into the racetrack on Friday evening. So going to be a great night for the NASCAR Wheeling Modified Tour in their return to a track that so many drivers, I know we started there as announcers, but a lot of drivers that are on the tour started there on Friday nights in SK Light Modifieds and SK Modifieds.
They have indeed. Chase Dowling had several races there as well as he leads the way, but we're hearing there might be more to the story with Chase Dowling. He's on the pit lane as a race leader, Bonza, but is there more going on with that 44 team?
I talked to Danny Gamache, his crew chief, and I asked him, do you guys need to come to pit road because they haven't taken tires all race? He said yes, because they noticed the left rear tire has shown a lot of wear in that run. So they're going to have to come in and replace that left rear tire at the least and do what else they need to do. They're going to be one of maybe a few leaders that'll come down pit road. So we'll see what they do in terms of how many tires they take and what adjustments they make with less than 30 laps to go.
So I think everybody wanted this race to go back under the green flag except for Chase Dowling, knowing all of that now, and he is the race leader, but for how long, we don't anticipate much longer. if we do go back under the caution flag, and it looks like that's going to happen here in just a moment. The jet blowers heading back to the infield and taking their spots around the racetrack toward the safety lanes. Looks like one more set off of turn number 4. We'll do one more pass here on the front stretch before we refire the modifieds down on pit road and resume this one. Still again, 26 laps to go. Been a thriller so far between the likes of Chase Dowling at the front, Austin Beers and Justin Bonsignor swapping the lead back and forth for much of the first half of this event. Jonathan McKennedy has been strong here in the second half in the 79 car. Andrew Moeller, good showing here. First time he's been to this racetrack in 6 years among the top 5.
Certainly doesn't look like it today. He's had a great day in that 82 car. Getting closer to resuming today's Mohegan Sun 100. More from New Hampshire in a moment. Back here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, many of the track vehicles have made their way back to the infield. A few more circulating around the racetrack. And the best sound we could hear is the engines coming back to life here for the Whelen Modified Tour as we aim to get the final 26 laps of the Mohegan Sun 100 in here this evening.
After a red flag of about 30 minutes here at the racetrack, the engines have refired down on the pit lane, and in just a matter of a couple of moments, they will head back out onto the speedway, and we'll finish this one up here tonight. It's been a thriller so far. Let's check back in down on pit road with Bonza Tufa, get a report from some of the other drivers running in the top 5 as we get set for the restart.
We'll take it in order. As I mentioned, Chase Dowling, the leader, coming down pit road. When they get rolling, it looks like they'll take 3 tires as far as what they've said. Up to this point, they've been deliberating for several minutes. At the second position, you have John McKennedy. John McKennedy took 2 tires on his pit stop, and his car is just a bit on the free side. Austin Beers, his car pretty good according to him. When I asked him on pit road, he took 4 tires. Behind him, you also have Justin Bonsignor. No adjustments on his pit stop, a bit on the tight side right now. He took 3 tires. Andrew Moeller hasn't put on tires yet. He says the car is pretty good considering how many laps they put on those American racers. That being said, I asked him, You guys gonna pit? His father, Mike Moeller, said, stay tuned. We'll see what happens.
Well, we'll see when they open up pit road here, Bonza. The rest of the field starting to roll off of pit lane. So far, everybody has gone. I'm not sure if they'll open up pit lane the first time, if everybody clears appropriately, but the pit crew's down on pit lane. They're going to be coming right back at you because they've got tires in hand, everybody with their strategy set to go for today's race, but it does appear that Chase Dowling, once they do open pit road, is going to have to come down and attend to those tires. 74 laps, Kyle, a long way to go on tires, and the strategy just doesn't seem like it's going to play out as good as it appeared for Chase Dowling.
Looked good for about 20 minutes.
They look great. They look great, and I you look at it like, no way is somebody going to win the race that way, and he almost did.
Waiting for the pit lane to open as the second half of the field rolls up the back straightaway, and I think NASCAR is hoping to open pit road this time by, and the green light is on. So we'll see here in just a matter of about 10 seconds or so. Once the pace car gets to that point, if there are any takers, we know the race leader is expected on the pit lane for Chase Dowling. But who will follow? Andrew Moeller, a driver that stopped just once under the last caution flag when everybody came on the pit road multiple times. He too forfeiting his spot in the top 5 to make a stop here on the pit lane, along with about, well, let's say about a dozen or so more drivers. Tyler Ripkema, Steven Kopsick, Ronnie Williams join Moeller, Dowling on pit road. Catalano is there, Eric Goodale. So there are more drivers on the pit lane than not, Bonza. Things are getting busy here with still 25 laps to go here today, and a lot of pit strategy taking place. Stops being made along with cars off the lead lap. Ronnie Williams, left side tire changes on his 50 car. The right side just completed for former race leader Chase Dowling. He is down and away as the race is off to the pit lane, as the front 8 or so cars are remain on the racetrack.
So Steven Kopsick, Eric Goodale, the first 2 off the pit lane. Cars that stayed out on the racetrack: John McKennedy, Austin Beers, Justin Bonsignore stayed out, Michael Christopher Jr., Dave Zapienza. It looks like they'll be in the top 5 when we get back under the green flag.
We'll be keeping an eye on Michael Christopher Jr. His confidence level has certainly changed from when I talked to him this morning. When we heard from him under the red flag, he wanted this race to go back under green because he believes he has the car to beat right now.
They built their car for the end of the race. We talked about the rubber laid down from the Craftsman Truck Series, that the track would be loose. Well, Joey Muchacharo, who's a crew chief on this 13 car, said, I expect to be good at the end. That's a strategy that worked last year. They came within 2 laps of the finish when there was a green-white checkered, and they did not make it to the end because of mechanical problems. Michael Christopher and that team, they have planned for this very moment. They got this race going once again. We'll see whether or not that strategy and the setup will be able to drive them from 4th to the win.
Restart in that second row when we do go back under the green flag. Continuing here under the caution, expecting the 1 to go shortly as the drivers that made the pit stop a lap ago rejoin at the tail end of the field. Bonza Tufa's on the pit lane. A lot of strategy taking place here, but it looks like everybody set to go to the finish here. What is done with 23 laps to go, Bonza.
Tires, and they had no chassis adjustments on that 44, so the car is good. Now they got some fresh shoes on it. Ronnie Williams got up to the top 10 before this rain delay. He pitted right behind Chase Dowling. They took 4 tires and made no adjustments, so they've staved their stuff, and now we'll see what they have with a full set of American Racer tires with the laps winding down.
All right, thank you very much, Bonza, down on the pit lane, as that part of the racetrack should be quiet here over the next 23 laps. Strategies complete, 1 to go. We'll finish this one up. Jonathan McKennedy, Austin Beers, front row. Then it's Justin Bonsignore, Michael Christopher Jr. Those are the front 2 rows inside and out.
Now Steven Kopsick came down pit road. He will restart 10th in the outside of row 5. The race leaders were last on pit road under the caution period that came out with 62 laps to go. We just watched that it was Chase Dowling went 74 laps before he had problems. can these drivers go 62 laps from the last time that they got tires to the finish here today? And the final, what will be 22 laps to go when we get the green flag. Austin Beers started first. He's back on the front row, but both of these drivers on the front row hungry for a win here in New Hampshire.
Several of those 62 laps will be under the caution flag, both prior and after the red flag that we had for rain just a little bit ago. The track is dry. We are set to resume the Mohegan Sun 100 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Lights out on the pace car and around this 1 mile oval. In fact, the pace car is set to get out of the way and let the Mod Squad get at it here. A 23-lap sprint to the finish here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Jonathan McKennedy, Austin Beers, and the green flag.
Green flag in the air, and the top four will race their way back into turn one. Beers on the bottom, McKennedy up top, and it's Beers to sweep up in front and take the race lead. McKennedy to second. Bonsignor backpedaling on the inside lane.
Trying to take that third spot away to the inside, but not a whole lot of help out on the bottom. It's Michael Christopher Jr. up to third. Here comes McKennedy. Dive bomb move into turn number 3 to take the top spot away. He'll lead as they come back down to the stripe to complete lap 79, and it's the 79 out front.
And look who's third, though. Christopher, you heard him on the pit lane. He said, I want this race to go back under green. Everybody else, look out. He is on the attack to the back bumper as the field stacks up behind in turn 2.
A lot of contact from fourth on back. Everybody's okay, and that contact continued through the field. One car in trouble on the back straightaway as we have a change up front. Austin Beers to the inside for the lead on McKennedy. Will stay under the green flag as there will be at least 3 cars heading to the pit road with damage after some issues over in turn number 2 a half lap ago. Now the caution flag comes out.
Yeah, they'll make it down to the pit lane, but there was heavy contact at the back of the pack. They checked up, you heard us talk about it, just out of frame off turn 2 from about 10th on back. They were 2 and 3 wide, and it ultimately landed with Anthony Nocella getting involved with Ken Hagee and Matt Kimball, who drove right into the back of Ken Hagee while everybody had checked up. Those 3 cars have made it down pit lane, but no doubt with the heavy damage, debris along the back straightaway will bring the caution flag out here for the 4th time today.
There's Anthony Nocella a moment ago, the heaviest of the damage of the 3 cars involved in the contact. A former winner here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway back in 2022. Ken Hagee, a quick stop on pit road in car number 18. And also Kimball, crew looking over the left front corner of his car in their pit stall. We'll see if Kimball is able to continue on. That checkup happened off of turn number 2 on the restart. Unfortunately, went through the field and collected in the worst way some of the cars just outside of the top 20. Kimball continues on, as does Hagee. I don't think Nocella will be able to continue looking at the damage on his car. He may have already gone back to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour garage. As Austin Beers continues the lead over Jonathan McKennedy, keeping an eye on Michael Christopher Jr. Said he had something, and he did on that last restart. Was able to pick up a position up to 4th. Don't count out Ryan Preece. Haven't talked much about Preece among the top 5 today, but currently shown in the 4th spot. Closest he has been to the front of the field, just in front of Justin Bonsignor.
Keep an eye on Michael Christopher Jr. there, running the 13 gold leaf paint scheme that his Uncle Ted had driven for many, many years. An 8-time winner here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and one of the best of the business in modified racing. His dad, Michael Christopher, has been working on this race car, changing tires. He said he had only 200 hours in this race car to prepare for this race here today. And earlier today, they discovered an important suspension component was broken on the side of that race car. They had to go over to the NASCAR Cup Series garage, where Ryan Burgeni, who came from modified racing, is a crew chief on a Front Row Motorsports NASCAR Cup Series team. They were able to borrow their welder and equipment to get that car repaired and put back together before the race, being able to use that connection from modifieds right to the Cup Series with the Cup cars here in town. And Michael Christopher Jr. with that car, over 200 hours of preparation, now in position to fight for the win here as we approach 17 laps to go.
A lot of hours, a lot of late nights and early mornings, probably some sleepless nights along the way for that entire race team. Could pay off here today, currently shown 3rd, that number 13 car. One career win came back in 2022 at Jennerstown. Never really been a full-time competitor on the tour until this season for Michael Christopher Jr. in his second event of the day, as he finished just outside of the top 10 and 12th in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race earlier today, as the field doubles up in their rows of 2. A lap shy of trying it again. It'll be a 16-lap run to the finish. Are we done with the caution flags? Ryan Preece may have saved a little something here in the late stages. Car number 40, another car prepared up here in his family's garage, just south here in Connecticut.
Spent a lot of time today talking about the drivers and their skill on the racetrack, but we haven't talked about the voice in their ear here. The spotters in the Wheel Modified Tour at New Hampshire play a big role. Austin Beers leans on Jack Healy, his spotter in the series, to call the shots, and the pressure on for the drivers in these moments, but even more so on the spotters. This is a big stage for them to announce on, or to spot on, I should say, as they roll towards the checkered flag. A lot of pressure for them in late minute blocks. We saw that come to play at the checkered flag last year. Everybody's got to be on their A game here as the checkered flag comes closer in focus.
And a lot of these spotters, like Jackie Lee, competitors in their own right, so they know what their drivers want behind the wheel. As the green flag is back out, 16 laps to settle it as they go to turn number 2. Austin Beers, Jonathan McKennedy to the inside with the advantage over Beers. Then it's Christopher and Preece in that second row as they string out up the back straightaway. Beers wanting to waste a little time on McKennedy and retaking the top spot.
And Christopher could not clear Preece off turn 2. Preece went to the outside with a shove from Catalano, but here comes Christopher down to the bottom. But we saw early the outside lane has the advantage, and it's doing it again here late in the going.
That high side momentum for Preece carries him up the front straightaway and into the third spot. 3 wide further back. Big move to the inside by Bonsignor, trying to move that 51 into the top 5. Drivers getting desperate if they're not toward the front of the field.
He's hungry. Kopchik shuffled out of line to the outside. Beers to the bottom in turn 3, looking for the race lead.
Austin Beers right to the bottom of the racetrack, looking for that first win on the 2026 season. Could it come today? Still a long way to go. 14 laps, 14 miles. He has Jonathan McKennedy right behind him, and here comes Ryan Preece and Tommy Catalano.
This is getting intense. Catalano and Preece, they haven't been up front. Catalano was early. Preece, this is the first time he's cracked the top 3, and he is charging to the front. Beers snaking down the back straightaway. McKennedy looks to the inside.
And found the room to the bottom going into turn number 3, did McKennedy, and got a huge boost of speed off of turn number 4, but will give some of that momentum up here on the front stretch. Beers right back on his back bumper as they go back to turn 1.
The draft in full effect as they go into turn number 1. Beers, nothing doing there. Look at the 13 of Christopher set sail, nearly colliding with Catalano.
Slides a little bit wide off of turn number 2, did Christopher. Meanwhile, ahead of them, another lead change in turn number 3. Austin Beers right back to the bottom on Jonathan McKennedy. Back to the front of the field, coming to 12 laps to go, and it's Austin Beers pacing the field down to turn 1 for now.
Beers is determined to control this race. You can see how aggressive he is on that far end of the racetrack in turn 3. McKennedy, though, wants none of that. He goes back to the point.
Where do you want to be on the last lap heading into turn number 3? That's the biggest question. We are far from that point with still 11 laps to go. Beers had a look to the inside of McKennedy, did not make a move. Here comes Catalano with a run in the outside lane. He is up to 3rd and wanting more, challenging for 2nd, takes the spot away.
Catalano's a wild card in all of this. He runs up towards the front of the field, but he hasn't been up there all day. Nobody knows what he's capable of. Nobody knows those moves that they were studying earlier because they haven't raced with Catalano at the front of the field yet, but he's been a factor all day, and he's looking for the lead here on the back straightaway.
Up to the 2nd spot, but lost a ton of momentum. Stuck behind the race leader, Jonathan McKennedy, going into turn 3. That allowed Preece to close in from 3rd. In fact, the rest of the pack right on the back bumper of Catalano. McKennedy got away, but here comes that draft in full effect, and Catalano to the front of the field in 1.
What a move by Tommy Catalano to go to the point, but he slips up the racetrack and McKennedy takes advantage.
Too much speed into turn number 1, drifted up the hill over in 2, and opened the door wide open for Jonathan McKennedy to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Off of turn 4 they come, now into the final 10 laps of the Mohegan Sun 100. This one far from over. It's McKennedy at the point as they team up behind him.
What a show we have seen here today in New Hampshire. One of the best races ever held at this racetrack. Too many lead changes to count. Battling bare knuckle in the final 9 laps of this one. McKennedy leads Catalano, Preece in the mix in third.
3 wide further back, just outside of the top 5. Everybody's okay. Here comes Catalano to the outside of turn number 3. Looked for the top spot. Didn't have the run that he needed off of turn number 4. But is he building that run here on the front straightaway? Gets a shove from Ryan Preece.
Ryan Preece nearly knocked Tommy Catalano out of the way with that hit. Shock to the back bumper from Preece, and he still holds on to it. McKennedy down to the inside lane, but the run is building for Catalano.
It'll be 7 laps to go this time by as they go to turn 3. McKennedy at the point. Bonsignor trying to move forward as well as they come to turn number 4. Justin Bonsignor inserts himself into the lead battle. Lone car on the bottom. Catalano and Preece team up just behind McKennedy in second and third.
You've got to watch the bump off the end of the back straightaway getting into turn 3. Every time through that into the racetrack, Ryan Preece's car is bottoming out. Sparks fly here as the darkness settles in at New Hampshire. That's going to be tough to make a last lap pass if your car is settling down into the racetrack like Preece's is.
Tommy Catalano looks to the outside, perhaps to build a run here on the front straightaway. Currently second in that red number 54. 1 car length, now a half a car length behind the leader, Jonathan McKennedy, as Eric Goodale slows here on the front stretch.
He got out of shape off turn number 4. He is off the pace to the outside of turn 1, but the car is still rolling.
Trouble turn 2, 1 car breaks loose, goes around right to the exit of the corner. Looks to be a solo spin, and the caution flag comes out.
Oh my goodness.
It's
Austin Beers.
Austin Beers.
Austin Beers with the opportunity to take advantage of the troubles for Patrick Emmerling. Just a decent finish inside the top 10 would certainly give him the point lead, if not give him a pretty significant point lead. This is disastrous for Austin Beers.
Was running just into the top 10 when the incident took place over in turn number 2, and we'll get a look at it and see what sent that 64 into a spin. It looked like he was to the inside of last year's New Hampshire winner, Tyler Ripkema, when the car snapped around on him inside of the racetrack and then spun behind the inside wall just above the access tunnel over in turn number 2. And he is able to continue on with minimal, if any, damage for car number 64, but will have a long way to go to try to gain some of those points back. Like you mentioned, he was in a pretty good position with Patrick Emmerling's issue. Austin was 13 points behind coming into today. Gave up a lot of those points over in turn number 2 a moment ago that he was going to gain on Emmerling, who crashed out on lap 3 of this race.
Not the opportunity that Austin Beers was trying to take advantage of here today with a late race spin. These are the things that certainly damper an opportunity at the championship. I know Patrick Emmerling and that team, they don't want to wish bad luck on anybody, but this certainly works towards their favor, knowing that Austin Beers is mired deep in the pack and the laps continue to tip away at his opportunity to close that gap. But what about the driver here at the front of the field? Right now, the scoreboard showing John McKennedy is the race leader. Keep in mind that in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the race leader, the last time they cross the start-finish line, is how they line them up on the restart. John McKennedy was the one that came across the granite stripe on the last completed green flag lap as a race leader. That's why he will stay out in front. But Tommy Catalano has been the story of this one all of a sudden in the last 20 laps since we went back under the green flag. 116 starts in his career. He's got 1 career victory. That was at the Monadnock Speedway last season. But he's always run well at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Today is his opportunity to go out there and get that win.
A lot of top 10 finishes for Tommy Catalano here at New Hampshire. Unfortunately, engine issues put him out of the race early last season here, but looking to rebound here, and a nice night so far for Tommy running in the second spot as we check back in on pit lane with Bonza Tufa.
And I got Tommy Catalano's crew chief, Rick Kluth, one to go at the line. What do you guys say about your driver and the run he's had today?
He's done a great job today. Before our pit stop, we were really good. He was really patient, third. Then after our pit stop, we got to the back, and we're back to second right now. So he's done a great job today.
What's the key for this final restart, if it's the final restart?
A good push. Good push from whoever's behind us.
Well, with the laps winding down, there's going to be a lot of pushing and shoving in the final laps, guys.
And we have seen so much of that today, Bonza, and it's going to take all of that. And we saw Ryan Preece shove him earlier. He's going to line up right behind Tommy Catalano. Interesting strategy, Kyle. The bottom lane has seemed to be a bit better on the restarts, even for John McKennedy, but he chose as a race leader to start in the outside lane.
Could it be because he has Justin Bonsignor to his outside?
It could be.
We'll see. Car number 51 will start from the 4th spot. We'll see if the outside lane goes or if Catalano and Preece will get the better push and momentum here on the front stretch for the restart. Down to it, it'll be a 2-lap run to the finish for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour on this Saturday night at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We have raced through Mother Nature and several caution flags to get to this point, but it is going to be well worth it. Thanks for sticking with us here on this Saturday night. You're not going to want to miss this as the pace car pulls to the pit lane. Off of turn 4 they come. Jonathan McKennedy, Tommy Catalano, that's the front row. Outside lane gets the jump as Justin Bonsignor connects with McKennedy as they go back to turn number 1.
Wheel to wheel in turn 1 for the race lead. They both wash up the racetrack. Preece will look inside for a moment. Advantage McKennedy up top, but here comes Catalano midway down the backstretch.
Catalano with the shove from Ryan Preece into turn number 3, propelling him to the front of the field. Now Preece goes to the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 4. He's eyeing the top spot. White flag is out. 1 lap to go as Tommy Catalano goes back to turn 1 as the leader.
McKennedy will look to make his move early. Down to turn 1, he'll go to the inside lane, take over the race lead. Here comes Ryan Preece. They're wrecking behind him off turn number 2. Green flag still out as Bonsignor spins on the final lap.
Justin Bonsignor out of shape. We stay under the green flag. Leaders are in turn number 3. Jonathan McKennedy at the point. Tommy Catalano not close enough to make a move as they come off of turn number 4. Checkered flag is out. Jonathan McKennedy wins the Mohegan Sun 100 in New Hampshire.
29 lead changes in an amazing race here today at New Hampshire, and John McKennedy is able to score that elusive Whelen Modified Tour victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and that 79 team. Tommy Catalano, what a drive for him in that team to come home in second, and Ryan Preece started mid-pack today, ends up on the podium in a tremendous event here in Loudon.
3rd win of the season for Jonathan McKennedy and that 79 team, getting it done here today by 0.2 of a second over Tommy Catalano, and that's a large gap usually here at New Hampshire after the chaos broke out on the last lap over in turn number 2. Ryan Preece will finish in 3rd. Tyler Ripkema and Trevor Catalano getting shuffled back in the final half lap after leading at the white flag will finish in the, or check that, Trevor Catalano in 5th. It was Tommy leading at the white flag lap who had to settle for 2nd here tonight.
Christopher Michael came home in the 6th position, 7th for Chase Dowling. Good rally for him after he had to come in pit late. 8th for Dave Zappienza. Strong run for him. The rookie Teddy Hodgson was 9th. 10th for Andrew Moeller.
Matt Hirschman finished in 11th, Craig Lutz in 12th, Paulie Hartwig III in 13th in his New Hampshire debut, Doug Kobe in 14th, Ronnie Williams in 15th. Then it was Jacob Perry in 16th, Stephen Kopsick, Ryan Newman, Austin Beers in 19th, so didn't gain a whole lot of ground, or at least the ground that he could have gained after that late race spin. In 19th, John Michael Chenette to round out the top 20.
They will talk about this race for many years to come. John McKennedy, the race winner. Let's take a look at what happened in turn 2, that spin that really set up that momentum where nobody could get to John McKennedy. It happened a little bit deeper in the pack. You saw contact between Michael Christopher Jr., Stephen Kopchick, and Justin Bonsignor. That broke the momentum of the rest of the pack. They couldn't build that draft that they needed to track down and give Tommy Catalano a push to keep him in this race.
Not a lot of contact with the outside wall, but a lot of loss of position for Justin Bonsignor off of turn number 2, and that'll relegate that 51 team to a 24th place finish here tonight. Well, we can catch our breath now, get ready for the event at the Stafford Motor Speedway next Friday night, just 6 days from now, the next stop for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. First race there in 5 years, the GAF 150 here coming up. As we're getting down to it, the end of the season closing in. A lot of familiar racetracks for the Tour, including at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in October. There's Justin Bonsignor, Doug Kobe, both climbing out of their cars over in the Modified Tour garage area.
Tremendous amount of excitement after The excitement we saw here throughout the day today at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, leading into next Friday night's event at Stafford Motor Speedway, highly anticipated. Many race fans really wanting to see the Modified Tour return back to Stafford's half mile. And after a show like this, the excitement going into next week is going to be incredible. John McKennedy, I can't believe it, 29 lead changes in a 100-lap race. Just an incredible event.
A lot of emotion there from Doug Kobe down in the garage, as he ended up with a 14th place finish here tonight. Not happy with something over the final laps of this event and the contact that took place out on the racetrack.
Tyler Ripkema offering congratulations, last year's winner, passing the torch to John McKennedy tonight.
And we'll go down trackside and hear from some of our top finishers, including John McKennedy, who it looks like will need a push to victory lane to begin the celebration of tonight's Mohegan Sun 100. So while he gets to victory lane, we'll tell you the next 4 events here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour schedule. Talked about the Stafford Motor Speedway coming up here in just less than a week. Friday night, August 28th. Then it's off to the Oswego Speedway, the relatively flat 5/8 mile oval, on September 5th.
And the Bull Ring down on Long Island Riverhead Raceway will be an exciting prelude to the championship back at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, October 11th. Columbus Day weekend as part of the World Series of Speedway Racing in the quiet corner of Connecticut, which is not very quiet when the Whelen Modified Tour rolls into town.
Always fun to watch those events, and a champion crown for the first time in a number of seasons. The last few years, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour title has been decided at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia, but it just feels right to crown the champion at the very first racetrack that the Tour ever competed at back in 1985 at Thompson.
More races have been held at Thompson Speedway than any other on the Whelen Modified Tour, and that will continue. Down in Victory Lane here at the Magic Mile, John McKennedy has made his appearance known, and this could be a big moment for him. Chelmsford, Massachusetts driver. He has won modified races here before, but not under the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour banner. A former champion of a couple of years ago of the series. This racetrack has meant a lot to him over the years, and he has won in about every type of open wheel car you can win on in the Northeast. He's about ready to get out of this race car. It's going to be a big celebration for him and that 79 team.
Pretty good super modified ace, but gets it done on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour here tonight for the first time in New Hampshire. We'll go down trackside to Bonza and hear from him in Victory Lane.
A lot of emotions for John McKennedy. His first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Talking about those emotions, John, how do you even sum up what this race and what this victory means for you?
This is huge. I've won, I don't know, a few hundred races in my career, all up and down the East Coast, all different types of cars, tons of racetracks. I've won here before on open modified stuff, but this was the one I always wanted. I was always so close multiple times, driving with Tommy Baldwin. It's just an awesome event. I'm speechless. Long weekend, raced last night, a super modified up at Lee, came back today. My pit guys did a great job, got me some good track position. Just thanks to all of them, all my sponsors on this car. There was a whole bunch of them. This is you. This might be one of my biggest friends in my career.
Let's go back to those last 10 laps or so. Back and forth, you and Tommy Catalano, lap after lap. How do you even plan in that chess game, and how are you able to work it out to your favor?
Honestly, it's a little bit of it's definitely luck. You know, you got a 50% chance of making a move, and you're either a hero or a zero, and everything just seemed to work out in my favor the last 10 laps or so. I've been in this position before in the past with a few laps to go and came up short, and today it just all worked out. I hope the fans enjoyed the race. I thought it was an awesome race. I mean, I was on the verge of crashing every lap, as well as all my competitors. Everyone ran really hard and clean. Catalano, Priest, Justin, all of us, Austin. These are some of the best open wheel drivers in New England, I promise you, and I hope you guys all enjoy the show.
You lucked out there at the end because you ran out of fuel on the cool-down lap.
I did, literally getting the checker flag. It ran out of fuel. It was a gutsy call. At the end of the day, I knew what we needed for caution laps, and I was within one lap. We were within one lap figuring out, and we just had enough.
Well, we got one more thing to do. We have the American Racer tire draw to see who from the middle of the pack wins a free set of American Racer tires when we head to Stafford Speedway this Friday. It is the 22nd place finisher, that'll get a free set of tires at Stafford Speedway this Friday as John McKennedy celebrates his first NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour win at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, victorious in the Mohegan Sun 100.
And getting that set of tires, 22nd place finisher Ken Hagee, a longtime regular here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour.
And with that incident in the last caution of the day, those tires go a long way for Ken Hagee, one of the veterans of the series. You heard him talk about John McKennedy, how big of a win this was and how close it was, running out of fuel, couldn't even drive the car to victory lane. This team will celebrate a well-deserved and hard-fought victory for the 79 team and John McKennedy.
Good thing it's not the Mohegan Sun 101,
No
or there
kidding.
wasn't an overtime for Jonathan McKennedy, who ran out of fuel trying to get to victory lane just a moment ago, but got the shove the rest of the way, which was about 100 yards or so, to celebrate, and that celebration will be going on well into the evening here tonight in New Hampshire. We will hear from the drivers that finished 2nd through 5th in tonight's race before we set the stage for Stafford Motor Speedway here in 6 nights from now, as the celebration continues for Jonathan McKennedy. A lot of selfies being taken down there in victory lane. All right, let's go down trackside to Bonza with some of our other top 5 finishers.
Tommy Catalano, a smile on his face after finishing 2nd. What a drive by you guys, but what more could you have done differently in those final laps to get one spot better?
Man, I don't know. We were just talking about that, and you know, his spotter said to me, he goes, you know, you got a plan, and I said, I've never been in this position before. You know, this is the first New Hampshire race I've ever finished without, you know, an issue, whether that be a tranny, a motor. You know, last year we crashed, and I mean, we limped across the line, but this is the first one we finished. So and I feel like every year we come here, and I feel so confident. I feel fast. I feel like I draft well, and you know, just never have anything to show for it. So to come here today, I just, man, this is huge. You know, I don't know. We were top 3 the whole first run there. We had an issue on pit road, and we restarted somewhere in the mid to deep 20s, and just to have a shot at it at the end, you know, what more can you ask for? I figured it was over at that point.
How proud of you guys, or you and your guys, with the run you guys had today, despite the adversity you guys dealt with?
Yeah, this is huge. You know, like I said, I was just telling somebody else, you know, we've been working so hard at getting, you know, better and getting the best package together, really. And, you know, we kind of did good on the short tracks there for a little run, and went to Thompson and struggled, and, you know, went home. And like I was telling somebody, this car was a bare chassis a week and a half ago. You know, I started over, took the 2 cars that I had and tried to make the best one out of both, and, you know, just put so much time into it. And, you know, these guys never give up. They work so hard every week, you know. And back at home, wife, girlfriend, and daughter, Marin, baby. Get in trouble for that one. No, but they're here this weekend, so it makes it that much more special, you know. And but back at home, you know, get the baby out in the shop with me, and my wife comes out there, and it just, I don't know. It's just so much time and effort, and to finally, you know, on the biggest stage, you know. And I know we go to other big tracks and stuff, but had a heck of a battle with John, and I don't know. Hopefully one spot better.
Kind of mixed feelings for Tommy Catalano, but a lot to be proud of. He's very happy with the 2nd place run, but he's also looking for a trip to victory lane. We'll make our way over to the 3rd place finisher, Ryan Preece, a guy who said that he felt like he had something if we got back to green flag racing. Immediately on the restart, you went from the back of the top 10 inside the top 5. What more did you need there in those final laps to try and work Catalano and McKennedy?
Yeah, you know, we had a good car. You know, those guys did a really good job. And you know, this, especially with that few laps, starting 3rd, it's a game of chess. And from there, it was trying to not get freight trained. And, you know, Mikey Christopher did a phenomenal job staying with me and pushing me, helped me stay there. And John just happened to get clear on the front stretch, hooked a hard left, and I just gave him a shot, got him into the corner, and thought we were going to be able to get under him and stay with him. But, you know, sometimes it's your day, some days it's your day, and some days it's not. And, you know, certainly proud of the effort, and, you know, that my father and myself and my entire crew that have been with me for a long time, you know, brings a lot of memories back, racing with Eddie and T.S. Haller, and, you know, Eric Sanderson with Flamingo Motorsports, and Albert and Kathy Moniz up at Thompson, Mike Paquette and Bob Hitchcock at Stafford, and Bill Park in Riverhead. So this is where I'm from, and this is definitely where my heart is when it comes to racing. And yeah, happy we were in contention and had a good car, and I can work on it for next time.
Good luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ryan Preece giving a shout out to a lot of people who played a part in helping him get to where he is now. He'll be competing tomorrow in the NASCAR Cup event here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Now we go to Tyler Ripkema. Boy, you fell back after starting up front. You were 13th when the rains came, and you said you guys had some work to do once we got back to yellow flag conditions. What did you guys do? And considering you finished 4th, I guess it was pretty effective.
I mean, in reality, we still needed to make more of a swing. We threw everything but the kitchen sink at it there under the caution. The car was just really free, off in, through the middle, drive off all day. Scary free. Threw everything at it there under that caution, and it was a little better, but you know, in reality, it still wasn't where it needed to be. We kind of were trapped bottom there on that green-white checkered, and you know, I didn't have a choice. I had to roll the bottom through 1 and 2, and I think we were in like 9th coming to the white flag, and they all stacked up on the top, and I rolled bottom and just kind of worked out. But no, we didn't give up all day. You know, had the right attitude, you know, just never give up, keep working on it and try to get it better. But yeah, huge change from yesterday to today. We had all kinds of drive yesterday, all kinds of stability, and then walked into today and just really unstable and free. So something to look at in the notebooks with truck rubber and so on and so forth. But yeah, still salvage a really respectable finish today, and really good points today too.
That's Tyler Ripkema finishing 4th, another top 5 effort for Old Blue in this 3 team. Trevor Catalano finishing 5th. Let's get a quick word with him before we head upstairs. Trevor, real quick, what do you have to say about the drive you guys had to finish 5th in this race?
Yeah, it was a mess. We were not very good the first run. I thought, going to go a lap down, to be honest. So to finish 5th, really good. The guys made great adjustment there on the last pit stop, and the car was great, honestly. You know, I thought we had a chance to maybe go up there and contend, and then got stuck on the bottom for a little bit, fell back to 8th or 9th, and then yeah, fought our way back to top 5. So this is awesome. We've only had like 2 top 10s the whole year, so we've been horrible. So this top 5 is huge, and hopefully carry the momentum into the rest of the year.
Best run of the year for Trevor Catalano in 2026 as we close out an exciting Mohegan Sun 100 here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway as we go back to Kyle and Joe to bring it home.
Well, thank you, Baza. It certainly was a great day today here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. John McKennedy ends up the winner. Great job covering all the storylines on pit lane. Kyle, this one is one for the ages.
It is indeed, as Jonathan McKennedy picks up his first win here at the Magic Mile. That celebration will continue into the night and perhaps to the Stafford Motor Speedway next week, where we will next see the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Friday night, August 28th, the next stop here on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. For the entire broadcast team, good night from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.